What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Just waiting for Beatrice to get here. I thought I was going to actually be running late. That would have really sucked. So how's everybody doing? Good to see you, Satria. Oh, I'm saying that right. All right, fix my volume so I can watch the chat there. Hey, Sablana, how are you? Just waiting for Beatrice to get here. She should probably run in a few minutes late, but I'm sure I'll see her in a few. So how's everybody doing tonight? Good evening, Sablana. How are you liking Florida? I'm doing well, Sablana. I'm doing really well. Hey, what's up, Anthony? How you doing, buddy? Hey, what's going on, Boogeyman? Feed, how are you doing? Thank you guys for being here. Just waiting for Beatrice. I'm going to send her the link again. Actually, I'll message her, make sure everything's okay. I'm excited about this. I'm a big, hey, Kamisha. Kamisha, big thank you to you. And you're still welcome to come on. I know you don't really like to do that, but you're still welcome to come on because I know Beatrice loves you. Creating nightmares. Creating nightmares. Yeah. I still got to get to that box. I ran out. Like, I got it all unpacked. Package right here. I looked in, sneak peek from the boogeyman himself. Let me see. Hopefully nothing came up, but I did talk to her yesterday, so she was excited about coming. Hopefully she didn't fall asleep on me. I know it's late for her. She's been really busy. I know she's been doing a lot. Oh, here she is. All right, guys. Big excitement for me. Amanda Krueger herself, Miss Amanda Boepple. Let me bring her on here. Beatrice Boepple, Amanda Boepple. Beatrice Boepple. See, I'm already nervous. I never get nervous.
Hey.
Hey, Beatrice, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
Welcome. Yeah, I can hear you good.
Oh, good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Oh, good. So
okay, great. Yeah, I hate using those too.
Yeah.
But I hear you good.
Good.
Welcome. Sure. I'm so excited for you to be here.
Oh, I see my little boy behind you.
Yeah, I got Freddie out, and then got some paintings. I even got Kincaid back there.
All right.
Just Legos. So let's see if I can keep it falling over. Yeah, I got your boy there.
Awesome.
He wants to look. He wants to look at mom.
Hi, dear.
That was done by a friend of mine named Jesse Aarons. He's done quite a bit of the masks that I got. I need more Freddy Krueger though. I do need more Freddy.
Well, do you have? Oh, I should have brought it with me. Do you have? I have an action figure now. There's an Amanda Krueger doll.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Was it by an artist or is it from a company that you can get?
Oh gosh, I'm so bad with names. I'm so sorry. What is his name? You know what? I know his name is like on Pirates of the Caribbean. There's the character.
Jack Sparrow?
Nope. The young Orlando Bloom plays him.
Oh, I don't know his name.
Oh.
I don't know his name.
Well, it's a similar name, and he makes horror dolls.
Oh, cool. Have you posted? You might have posted a picture. I've seen it. Have you posted a picture with it?
I'm sure I have. Yeah, because I'm so stoked by it. I love having a little action figure.
That is cool. I mean, well, it's awesome to have an action figure, especially the fans. The fans love, all you people like you and even Ken Sagos. Now with all these conventions, and I see you're on the road to conventions.
Yeah.
And it's been keeping you really busy. It's great to see the actresses from the 80s and 90s of horror, especially for me. And I'm just so excited to see all you guys again. And you guys all look great. I swear, you guys all look like you haven't aged a day.
Oh, thank you, appreciate it. Um, yeah, no, we're having so much fun meeting all the fans and also just hanging out with each other too. Like that's really cool too. Just this past weekend, hanging out with Erica and Danny, and it was the first time any of us had seen Wit, who plays Jacob, the little guy Jacob. So this was the first time I'd seen Wit since we filmed. So that was what, 32 years ago? I mean, crazy.
I remember watching it in the theater. I remember. I loved it. I mean, I was always a big Nightmare on Elm Street slasher fan. Always a toss up between Freddy, Jason, and my boy Michael Myers.
Right.
But I know what you're saying about seeing old cast members you haven't seen in a while. Like when I was at Phantasm, there was a ton of the 78 cast there, and you could just see the love they have for each other and excitement that they get to spend the time together. So yeah, I totally understand.
You look pretty young though to know. I don't know how you're familiar with all these shows from the
I'm
80s.
45. I'm 45, so
Okay, well,
I watched.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. How do I
You got a
turn-
call?
No, I got to turn this off. I don't want to. There. Okay, that should be good. I had something on. Make sure I get no disturbances.
If you need to be disturbed, you be disturbed. I appreciate you just coming on and hanging out. Yeah, I'm 45. I'm 45. So yeah, I watched it all in the movie theater, and I used to work like clean a movie theater for my friend who was an older one. He'd buy me beer when I was like 16, and I'd get to see all the movies for free, and it was great. I wasn't complaining.
Did you ever find anything good cleaning up the theaters? Did anyone ever leave their wallet? Well, wallet would be bad because once you know, you got to give them back. But like just cash, or did you ever?
Sometimes it seemed like somebody else would always find the cash. The worst would be finding somebody's dip cup. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then it just smelled like the theater. Oof.
Bubble gum, like on seats or something.
Oh yeah, the theaters now, even though like the theater that's by us has nice reclining seats.
Right.
You sit. It's a lot better now to go to the movie experience. So at least where I am.
Yeah.
And when back then it was pretty uncomfortable, especially it'd be more not when I was cleaning up because I'd expect to find nasty, but when you'd sit down and you find nasty, and it'd be like,
yeah, like yeah. No, some of the theaters now are so comfortable. You could just like put your feet up, and you got your little drink cup thing there, and you could just take a nap if the movie's.
I've been caught in a mid snore before. Yeah. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
Because I take care of 3 guys, and I was like, John, you're snoring. But you're reclining back, and the movie's okay.
Yeah.
And you wind up falling asleep.
I don't know why. For some reason, I fell asleep in Star Wars when I was a kid. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I was a kid. I don't know. But I fell asleep in Star Wars, believe it or not. You think like, why?
I'm telling Star Wars fans, they'll kill you.
Well, I guess it is long, right? The original movie, I think, was pretty long. I don't know.
It's a longer movie. I forget how long they were. Movies when you're a kid always seem like they're longer, though, than they really are.
I mean,
But I actually.
Go ahead.
I just watched Quarantine, and I got to tell you, I honestly liked it. It got a little sloppy at the end, but it was really good, and you were really, really, really good in it.
Oh, thank you.
Really good. Yeah, you were awesome.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was. I mean, it was fun to do, honestly. And I mean, well, of course, it's always fun to play a lead role in a film, and also I got to, ride a horse on film, which was like that had always been my dream because I love horses. Before becoming an actor, like when I was going to go to college, I actually was torn between should I go to theater school and become an actor or go to equestrian school and work with horses, because those were my 2 loves. And I couldn't afford equestrian school. It's just like super expensive, like down in Tennessee and such. So I ended up in theater school. So, but then I did.
So the best.
Yeah, see, right. If I hadn't gone to, then we would have had a different Amanda Krueger, I guess. But yeah, I even as an actor, when I was living in Vancouver, my agent and I bought a horse. So I did get to have both my loves at the same time. But yeah, so you like parenting. Yeah, I'm so glad you saw it. It's timely, right?
You know what? It's a great move. It's a worth a watch nowadays. A I'll post it in the Facebook group. I know you posted on your page, but I thought it was really, really a cool movie with a great idea. It kind of gave me a what's the movie I'm looking for? It's They Live type vibe. It was
Right.
really good like that. It was like before its time kind of deal, and it really does speak nowadays.
Right.
And it's just because you could see it. You could. I mean, not hopefully it doesn't happen to that extreme, but it was interesting.
Yeah.
It definitely. It's.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, he was thinking of, um, you know, Charles Wilkinson, who directed it. I mean, I think the thought, I don't know, you know, it could have been also AIDS. Really, it could have been almost anything, really, you know. But that fear that people would have of anyone that was infected, you know, and the whole idea that, okay, now everyone's infected, we're all carriers, so there's no point, you know, putting people in quarantine. Let's just try to find a solution. But yeah, and there's some other cool castmates. I don't know if you recognized
I
some of
did. The guy who played the security guy looked so familiar, and the
yeah,
kid looked really familiar too.
a kid, yeah, Kai. I wonder what he's doing. I actually don't know, but I know, for example, so Tom and Jerry, we called them. Tom Wasserman was the Senator Ford, and he's done a ton of stuff. Like, you know, you just see him in all kinds of movies. And then that was Jerry, yeah. And then Tom Macbeth was the, you know, creepy guy with the, you know, he looked like a Nazi kind of guy, you know, the guy that
Yeah,
was dressed, the police maniacal guy. They both are like super great actors. The thing with Canadian films is most of the actors are, you know, classically trained theater actors. You know, we all started off in theater and, you know, doing Shakespeare and stuff. So, you know, there's a nice quality of actors there. And let's see, Garwin Sanford, who, you know, played opposite me. They've all done a lot of stuff. You know,
I
they're
know I've seen a lot of them in other places.
yeah, yeah. You'll see, you know, the kind of actors you'll see in all kinds of movies. I'm trying to think. Oh, well, you haven't yet seen Matinee though, right?
I did. I watched that before. I did. I watched Matinee. I did my research. I
Oh,
had to.
you awesome. Yeah, so Matinee that also has the guy who played my dad was the smoking man from what's that with Scully and Mulder? No, you know,
Oh, from X-Files?
X-Files. Yeah,
Yeah, I used to love that's okay. I know I recognized him too.
yeah,
It was
yeah. So he was
I'm
the
terrible with names too, so
yeah. So he was the smoking man um, from that X-Files, and also the guy who played. So that's William B. Davis, and then the other guy who played the theater manager, the bald guy who, you know, well, there were two gay people that worked at the theater, but the older one, the rounder face, unfortunately, he passed away. Wonderful actor, Don Davis, and he also was on X-Files as he was the general, army general or something. But anyway, yeah, lots of
there
fun
were
actors.
definitely familiar faces from the 80s and 90s movies that I didn't, I know I've seen them before in something or another. And
Yeah.
I'm so bad with names and I'm bad at putting names with places, but I know I'd seen quite a few of them, which was really cool. I mean, the acting in all those movies were great. I really liked Quarantine, and the acting in there was fantastic. And it
Oh,
was, the Matinee gave me that Scream vibe, which I really liked.
right, right. Yeah, I mean, it was done a little tongue in cheek and stuff, and I mean, we won't, in case anybody watches that, I have no idea, so we won't tell them who did the murders. But um, Jillian Barber, the woman who played my mom in Matinee, I just saw her like 20 minutes ago. I was watching. Have you seen the TV series on Netflix called The Maid?
I have not, unfortunately.
So it actually it's a series that we just started streaming, and suddenly there was this nursery, this woman who ran this nursery school, and I'm like, oh my god, that's Jillian, you know. So many of my friends, so many of my actors from Vancouver were in it. So lots and lots and lots of series are always filmed in Vancouver. It's a great place to be an actor.
I've heard that. I've heard it's really been, and it keeps growing, especially in indie films.
Right.
I do a lot of good stuff there too. Just a
Yeah.
lot of great filmmaking going on in Vancouver. I didn't really realize that until actually recently. One of my buddies did did an interview when they were talking about filming locations in Vancouver. But let me read some of these comments because I'm sure there's a ton of people that want to ask you questions. I
Okay.
already got Rick hounding me, so I want to make sure. Do you see the chat on your screen?
No. Let's see. Oh, there. Oh, I see comments. I was on private chat. I didn't even see any of it. Okay. Okay. All right.
So let's see. Let's see.
Nightmares. Oh yeah, Kamisha. I know. Hi, Kamisha.
Kamisha's great. She's the one who I saw you in her group, and me and Kamisha's she's awesome. I actually invited her to come on, but she's not really into like streaming. But
Okay.
she's such a huge supporter in the horror community. She's awesome.
Right.
Love Kamisha to death. Yeah, she's amazing. She really is. We got a lot of amazing people in this chat from the horror community too.
Oh, I'm seeing Camp Crystal Cabin 6. You know what, Camp Crystal, so the actual Crystal Lake, you know, that's my sons are in Boy Scouts. Well, they're not anymore, they're in college, but in Boy Scouts, their summer camp is where Crystal Lake was filmed, Camp Novi Bosco. And they film, you know, they that's where the kids actually have their summer camp. And then I think that in the fall they let like fans and tourists come to the campsite, but in the summer it actually is a camp. And the kids all camp there. I don't know if I'd want to be camping at that site if I knew, you know, if I'd seen the movie.
It'd be a little scary. I'm sure the campfire stories are great.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh. And Camp Crystal Cabin 6 actually does a lot of my editing on my channel, so I want to give him a big shout out. And he was with me at Crypticon in Kansas City. Right. And also he was at Phantasm Orlando with me. He was only able to be there for a day, but it was good to see him. Oh, so awesome. He makes Jason Hawks. So if I had one here, but I don't. I got Freddie today.
Okay. Yes. You gotta have my son.
Yeah. And then a good friend of mine out there, he does Michael Myers. I want to give him a shout out. Frank Sinatra over there sings beautifully.
Right.
He sings beautifully. His name is Freddie, man. He does really good masks. Anthony Jordan, he's a great guy. I see him. He's friends with Interval. Anthony's got a great channel too. So these are all great people that are in the chat right now.
Awesome.
Really big horror fans and support.
Camp counselor. Yeah, I hope Anthony didn't scare his campers as a camp counselor. But,
yeah, he has a Jason outfit. I haven't seen the pictures of it, but I know he was working on it last year that he was going to wear for Halloween. He's a big dude, so Jason fits him well. Oh, but what was I gonna? All right. So what have you been up to? Like since Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5 and some of these other things? I think I saw you on YouTube working with kids. Are you teaching kids or something, or working?
No. So what it was kind of interesting. So, you know, I had my big bulk of my career was in the 80s. After theater school, as I said, I started off in Vancouver and I had tons of work there. You know, I did theater. And what I like about working in Canada, what I like about working in Vancouver is they really allow actors, at least when I was there, you know, actors to be full-fledged actors. So we do theater and we do radio and we do film, we do TV. You can have, and you just work as much as you can work, you know, because we need to make a living and we also love acting, and you get to work as much as you work. And it doesn't really matter. One day you can play the lead role in something, you know, like I starred in a film. The next day, if there's a, you know, good enough gig doing just like a silent part in a commercial, I'll do it. Then I might be on stage in a play where if the cast is really good and I have a really small part, that's fine because I get to be on theater, you know, in the theater working with good friends. And it's like that with most Canadian actors. But I mean, I'm not technically Canadian. When I was living there, I was what was called a landed immigrant or permanent residence in Canada. I was born in the US. But the thing is, as soon as I moved to LA, they just want to put you in a box. It's like Hollywood is like, they just want to put you in a category. So if you are lead roles, that's all you get. Or if you're a small part, bit player, that's all they want to put you in. But even within that, so I played Amanda Krueger, which was a phenomenal role, but all they saw me was horror film. That's all they wanted me to do. And in retrospect now, seeing how popular it is and all you guys, all
Yeah.
you fans, I should have just taken them all. I should have said yes, yes, yes. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. Two things. One, I was really scared of horror, like a lot of gory stuff. And also, I just didn't want to be stuck doing only one kind of thing, because I came from Canada where I was used to doing so many different kinds of things. So I wanted to be a little more, fluid. And when my agent, like day after day, they would only give me auditions for horror script after horror script after horror script, I was like, no. But even more than that, the God honest truth, why I really left the business was, it was a combination of that, but it also was, I had to get away from a boyfriend. I was dating a guy, and he's still in the business. He does very well. He's a screenwriter, but we were just in one of these, codependent relationships where we would get together, we'd break up, we'd get back together, break up, years and years. It just kept going on. And but every time I was successful and got a starring role or a big role, he would freaking cheat on me. And at the time, I wasn't developed enough emotionally with my own stuff to just say, hey, fuck you, and walk away. I really should have. But you have to be confident and love yourself to be able to be at that stage. So I just kept returning to him because, well, he was really good looking and whatever. But anyway, so I finally came to the point where I was like, I deserve more than this. I got to get away from him, but I know that I will never get away if I'm here. So I left LA, and I ended up spending a year in Taiwan teaching English and acting to all kinds of students in Taiwan. And then from there, I ended up going to India to study with my spiritual teacher, doing meditation and yoga, and doing 2 years of volunteer work on a mobile hospital. And that was like such deeply fulfilling work. And while I was there, the focus was so much on who you are as a person inside. So there were lots of celebrities there, but and also lots of just, everybody. It didn't matter if you're rich, you're poor, you're beautiful, you're ugly, not that anyone's ugly, but you know what I mean? You were just judged only for who you are inside. And we all just wore like Indian kind of clothing, so it didn't matter what if you had nice clothes, it wouldn't matter. So we all were just treated for who we were. And after that, it was really hard concept for me to try to come back to acting, not the craft of acting, which I would have loved and I still love, but the business where you have to constantly sell yourself, and where you're like 50 pounds lighter. I was 50 pounds lighter than I am now, and people were still, in the industry saying you're too fat or whatever. It's a tough business. I think it's getting a little bit better. And still, there's a long way to go, especially for women, but I just couldn't do it. And that, combined with my spiritual growth and my love of yoga, by the time I decided to get married and have kids, I was almost 40. I waited a long time. This was the 5th guy to ask me to marry him. And I had decided I'm not going for the, just only good looking guy. I'm going for the kind, nice, good guy. And that's what I did. And I raised my sons. And I really focused on being a full-time mom, involved with PTA and doing all that kind of stuff. And on the side, I taught yoga, and I have a yoga business that also, I did a little theater, although I have to whisper that because I'm a equity, Actors Equity Union member, and you're not supposed to do non-union work. So hopefully no equity people are listening. So I did a little bit of local theater, and I did a little bit of student films and stuff like that, but I never used my name. So anywho, but now, as of this fall, as of last month, both my sons are off in college, and I'm what's considered now an empty nester. So I'm going to make a comeback.
I think you should. I know a lot of people working on indie projects. I'm actually a producer on 2. So they're always looking for actors and actresses. And you know, they're all different types of movie. Obviously, I'm a little bit of a horror fan. I don't know if you noticed, but
Oh, yes.
but honestly, with and I'm gonna go back to Quarantine again. That was more of an action role for you, and I'll be honest. I mean, you were great as Amanda Krueger, but that was a Quarantine was really your movie. I mean, you were the star of that movie.
Yeah.
And you were fantastic. You really did a great job. And I'm not just saying that. I really liked Quarantine a lot. I thought it was had a lot of good ideas. Like I said, it has that They Live vibe,
Right.
and it was better than what I expected. I didn't expect a lot from it, and don't take that wrong, but I never really heard of it, and I liked the idea. I had to take a look at it before I talked to you, because I was like, I'm either going to really like this or I'm not. And I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought you were incredible in that. And of course, I love you as Amanda Krueger, the prettiest nun ever. You and Sally Field, you guys kind of had that little top two for me. But you were fantastic in that. But you had a smaller role, less speaking parts. This was all on your shoulders. You were like an action hero. I saw you take that gun.
Yeah.
You didn't play around.
Yeah, I learned, I had to go to the shooting range beforehand and learn how to, and the props master wanted me to be very comfortable with the gun. So he had me shoot, what is it? The AK for, some huge freaking thing, that really had a reverberation when I'd shoot it and stuff, just so I'd be more comfortable. And, at first I was really squeamish about guns. I didn't want to hold a gun, whatever. And I found that after a while, I hate to admit it, I got really comfortable holding it. And one of the locations that we filmed in was like this big, huge, creepy, abandoned, what they used to call an insane asylum, but that's
mental institution
term. Yeah. What is it? Like a mental institution.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was creepy as heck. I mean, some of the rooms, like there was paint on the walls, like help, get me out of here. And you could see where they had the bathtubs where they'd force people into ice. Just the whole energy and vibes of the place was so freaking creepy. So between, takes and stuff, when we're like just on break and walking around, I'd be really uncomfortable. So I caught myself a few times when I was going around a corner, like of this, holding up the gun. I was like, anyway.
You were ready. You were trained. You felt comfortable. You were ready. You were properly trained to take out any ghosts.
That's
I don't know how the bolts would work, but.
That's right. Yeah. So, no, I'm so glad you liked it. I'm really.
I really did. I really did.
Yeah.
It's a must watch. I think it makes more sense now than it did when it came out. It's a very relatable movie.
You know what? I should upload my own copy of that, and also Matinee. So that's in proper format, because I know the Matinee that was on YouTube is like almost unwatchable. It's so, pulled. What do you call that? Like the ratio?
Yeah, the aspect ratio is a little off on it.
Yeah, but you know what? And if anyone, if for some reason a producer from either film ever sees this or hears it and gets pissed at me, I really don't care, because I think I might have mentioned to you in our text. I'm not sure, or maybe I commented, but they never gave me 1 penny of residuals.
That's crazy. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, so it's like, this is 30 something years later. I never got a penny, so I don't care. People can watch it for free. I don't get a penny from their residuals, and that's just really nasty. I mean, I started in the
people get to see it. I mean, and like I said, you were really good in both. At Quarantine especially, you were really good, because that was a real serious role, and I could tell you were really into it.
Yeah.
Because even, I don't want to say you weren't into horror, but a lot of them are horror. Other than you were in Stakeout, which I still got to rewatch again. I've been wanting to. I just run out of time.
Yeah, that actually was a good film. I would say probably out of, any film that I got to work on, that was, like probably all around, just a really good film. Like I think anyone could kind of enjoy it. And I think it was like the first real cop buddy movie where it was, I think it was the first one where it's, a cop drama, but it's also funny. Since then they've made a lot of those cop buddy films, but right? I don't know.
Well, it was definitely at the beginning of them. I mean, I know Lethal Weapon might have been out, but I don't remember which one came out first.
Yeah, I think Lethal Weapon was after. I do.
Was it okay? So yeah, you guys were the beginning. I'm a big Emilio Estevez fan anyway. I was a big fan of Young Guns because I'm a Western guy too. I really like that, and of course Richard Dreyfuss is a legend. So
They were both so damn sweet. Really, really nice guys. Emilio, we're still friends. You know, we've kept in touch ever since. And Richard Dreyfuss, I mean, I got stories. He was a really, down to earth, awesome guy.
I heard he really dives into his roles. Like he's method actor, so he's got to be in the moment. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't know. You worked with them, and I don't mean that in a bad way because there's method actors that have to be in their role.
yeah.
Emilio Estevez just always seemed like a cool dude.
He is. He's so like night and day from him and his brother. Like I knew Charlie Sheen too. When I lived in LA, my roommate Scott and Charlie were best friends. So Charlie would always come over to the apartment, and he's like total party guy and whatever. Emilio is just a lot more, he's a little shy, a little quieter, down to earth, and very, very serious with the film industry. He has his own company. He does a lot of writing and directing, and he directed that film with his dad.
I did
The Way.
that too.
He did The Way. He did that, and then more recently, he did one about the homeless people that take over a library. I think in Chicago or something in the winter.
I'll have to check it out. I did like the movie he did with his dad that they worked. They did that together. I can't remember what was the name of it. The Way.
It's called The Way, and
You-
and the whole thing is about that pilgrimage, which a friend of mine has done, and my best friend from childhood, she and I we were planning to do it next year because we both turn a pretty significant age next year.
Kind of but no matter what the age, you got to go on adventures, especially with a friend. I mean, that makes it all worthwhile right there. And it sounds like you enjoy those, a lot of growth since you were in LA, with traveling, helping people. With what I do, I get what you mean, where people don't judge you. What I do, I work with 3 individuals, and they truly care about you. There's no fakeness. There's no BS. Right. Whether it's LA or anywhere, a lot of people are full of it. And these are the type of people that no matter what are sincerely care. They sincerely appreciate you, and you sincerely appreciate them. So I understand that growth. It was a growth for me, even between my 20s and 30s, where I was a little more 20s and 30s, where mid 30s, 40s kind of grew up a little bit. And doing what I did grew me up a lot, especially since I work weekends. So I'm actually at work. I'm downstairs in Doomsday's crypt. My guys are already sleeping upstairs. So I got the door open, got my ear kind of listening. But they're great guys. I have a lot of fun with them.
Okay.
But I do understand what that growth as a person. But you're ready to get back and going, huh?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I actually today, I was just reading a script that somebody just sent me. A horror film playing a nun.
We love you as a nun, huh?
What's so funny is I've played nuns like so many times. Like I started off, my first was right after high school, right before the year before I went, maybe it was my last year of high school, the year before I went to theater school. I was in a local theater. This was in Victoria, British Columbia, Vancouver Island. And their local theater there did the play Once a Catholic. So I played a little Catholic girl, but I also played a nun in that. And then in theater school, we did. Oh gosh, see, I'm like, I can't remember anything now. But I played a nun in a number of plays there, and then Shoot to Kill. Oh, my husband just walked by, but anyway, he reminded me that. Did you know the movie Shoot to Kill with Sidney Poitier, Tom Berenger?
I didn't even realize at the time you were in it. It's been a while since I've watched it.
Yeah,
and I was researching, of course, but
that was a tiny role. I know they say there's no tiny roles, but it was just a little quick walk on. And I think in the release version, they might have even cut my voice. I'm not sure. Maybe my lines are in there. Either way, even if I had them, they weren't. It was just a small little walk on. But I loved the actor Blue Mankuma that I was working with. We both played we were these two undercover cops. He was dressed as a priest and I was dressed as a nun, so we're undercover, surveying the place. And, so it's just so funny that I keep, being nun. I keep being nuns.
Hopefully your next role for you is something you really enjoy doing, whether it's a nun or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sure you don't mind either way, as long as you can show those skills off. And they're definitely there. So it's good to know that, well, not good to know, but it's good to know you left the situation that wasn't good for you ideally, and you sacrificed a lot for it. But it sounds like, honestly, it worked out for the best. You had a family, you got to grow as a person.
Yeah. And
you raised 3 kids.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't trade those years in India for anything. I don't know if you ever read the book or saw the movie Eat, Pray, Love, but the author of that, she was in the ashram when I was there. She was living in the same place. That's what she wrote about, her time in India. But it was, I really learned there. You want to talk about horror, some of the poverty, in third world countries. It's like, for the longest time after I left the work that I did when I left India, I would never say I'm starving. It slipped back into my lexicon. I say it now if I'm really hungry, but when you really see what real starving is, it's like, it's really, we don't starve in America. They are, believe me, I know there's incredible homelessness and poverty in the US as well. And it's tough. It's a really tough thing. But in India, the people that we served were called the Adivasi. And they're like they're not even in the caste system. In the caste system, the lowest, the untouchables can still be quite wealthy. Like, they're allowed to have a job, they're allowed to have a home, whereas the Adivasi are the migrant workers. They really were the natives of the land, and they're not allowed to have any property, and they have no shoes.
Yeah, that's really sad, and it makes. I'm sure it makes you appreciate. I think a lot of people don't understand how lucky we are to live in the United States of America or Canada or one of these countries where we hopefully never have to be like India with the starvation and stuff like that. It's sad seeing anybody starve or anybody struggle, even if it's here, seeing our homelessness. But at least there's food. There's really, like you were saying, unless somebody really goes out of their way to give it to them, there's no way for these people to eat. They literally starve.
Yeah, and the lack of water, the lack of clean water to drink. I mean, that's a massive problem in the world. Like, I mean, that's the one thing. Like, we have water, for the most part. Although, we've heard of places in the U.S. where people don't even get good, clean water. So, but I count my blessings every day. And I was just saying this the other day that this isn't BS. Like, I'm really grateful that we were really poor when I grew up. There was a point where my parents, we had to be on food stamps, not for long, but I know what that was like, and getting that freaking lunch. Back in the day, you'd have to show your stupid ticket, in school. And so kids would pick on me like crazy. And I remember, getting close from the Salvation Army. And the one time I had this one dress that was so beautiful. Like, most of the stuff we get from the Salvation Army was, it's all hand-me-downs, and a lot of it was crappy. But there was one dress that looked almost brand new. And I thought, oh, for once, maybe I won't get teased for what I'm wearing. And so I put on this dress and I walk into school. And of course, the nastiest, bitchiest rich girl in school who would always be teasing me, she looks over and she's like, oh my God, that's the dress I threw away. In front of everybody.
They can be mean. And girls can be, I don't care. Everybody says girls can be the most vicious. I have 2 sisters, and I'm not saying they were being a bully, but I've seen like the way females can be mean to each other, especially from, a personal standby, whether it's, I've seen people, luckily my sisters had me. So if anybody crossed the line, I didn't let it. Always protected my sisters, but I've seen mean and nasty some people can be. And especially the snooty females can be. I know which ones you're talking about.
Yeah. So that's, but I guess, but the reason I'm grateful that I did experience poverty, I'm not, by American, it depends on what standard, whether I'm rich or not. I'm not we're not super, super wealthy, but we can pay our bills and we can buy food, and I can buy food without having to count, like having to count down as I put it on the conveyor belt. To me, that's like really bloody blessed, because I totally remember what it was like to have to, you know, I'm biting my teeth going, ooh, can I put this down? And, having to pull back some groceries because, you just didn't have enough money. And having lived like that when I was younger, I just appreciate what I have. I think if you're born into wealth and, you're just like a, super rich kid, you just don't have that gratitude. You don't know how lucky you are because you've never known what it's like to not have. And I know what it's like to not have. And I know that, something can happen, some crisis could happen and we could lose this home. But two things. One, I have the confidence that I could live on a lot less. I know how to do it, and I know how to even eat healthy on a really low budget, and make a home out of a garage because I've done that before, and as long as I do have, some kind of wealth, that I'm not in poverty, I'm grateful, and I'm glad that I can appreciate what I have. I feel sorry for people. Truly, I do. I feel sorry for people that don't know how good they have it,
Well, and I'm sure as an actress that helps you out too, to be able to experience and put yourself in a situation of being poor, being successful. I mean, you've seen the lowest of the lows and the highest of the highs. So,
Yeah.
And I can relate because I've been homeless before in my life, and I've gotten to the point where I know what I'm doing. Like, you grow as a person, and like for me, I've experienced the lowest of the low, and I never want to be there. And I'm
Right.
at a really good point in my life where everything's good, and so I can understand if I could act, which I can't. Like you, I could imagine using that as an experience because you understand people and you see people from all different levels. When you're poor, you understand what other people go through in that situation. And when you're rich, like you said, you saw Los Angeles, Hollywood from the inside, and it's everybody wants to talk about the bright lights and the glory, but I can't imagine it being easy.
Yeah.
It's got to be a very difficult situation, or can be.
It can be for sure. Yeah. And I think, and I think for actors, the more, obviously the more life experience we have of every type, the better actors we can be because we have so much more to draw from. And then whether you're an actor or not, I think just the shitty things that we've all had to go through in life, everyone has, I don't think there's anyone who, let's say above 30 or 40 who hasn't had some kind of trauma or tragedy. I mean, if you could get to that age and not have something horrific, you're pretty lucky, But I've lost pregnancies. I've had late-term miscarriages, which is horrific. I held my little baby girl in my arm when she died, and I never thought I could live through that. And I'm going to be really super candid. I don't know why I'm being so open to all, but I was raped,
Oh,
through that. So, these things, when you survive, tragedies, it gives you more compassion, or it can also make you really bitter and hate the world. But I chose not to. And I think that's why, yoga really appeals to me, because it's a philosophy that really just helps me get through some of this stuff. But, yeah, I've been burglarized. I've had somebody hold a knife to my throat. I've had a lot of freaky things. When I was, at one point when I was younger, my parents moved us into this commune, and it turned out to be a freaking cult. That we had to get kidnapped. My stepdad had to kidnap us out of there. It was really, really freaky. And now there's a whole support group for people that lived through that. So yeah, I've lived through
was it
crazy.
the one I'm thinking of? I don't want to.
Mount,
I can't remember the name of
have you heard of it? It's
it.
called Mount.
You cut out on me. What was the last one? The
It's
name of
called Mount Hope.
I heard of a different one. I don't know if it was Mount Hope, but I've heard.
Yeah, this one is in upstate New York, and it was a freaky, spooky thing. But
Was this as an adult, or this was like a teenager or more
yeah,
adolescent?
it's when we came back from Japan. So I was like 9. It was, I think, when I was like 10 and 11. Wow, it was a crazy thing there. Oh, we had, Yeah, I could tell. I could go on and on. I could
You
tell.
got some stories. It's interesting. I appreciate you opening up and telling everybody here and telling me. I really appreciate you going in depth of what you've been through, because it makes me as a fan, I'm sure as them, really appreciate what you do even more. So it's great to, I'm sure everybody's excited to see you, and the ones who haven't been able to see you for a while because you left I know we're happy to see you again. I'm sure you see that at the conventions all the time, how excited people are to see Amanda Krueger. I
Yeah,
mean,
so touching.
it's
There was
got to blow you away.
we had a fan, John. I won't say his last name, A, because I'm terrible and forgot it. I'm terrible. My memory is so bad with names, and B, because I don't know if he wants people to know. But anyways, one fan drove 6 hours, and he said, like, mainly to see me. He wanted to see me and Wit. I mean, he's a fan of the franchise anyway, and when a guy drives freaking 6 hours to come see us, and because this wasn't really a horror convention, it's New Jersey Collector Fest, which is great fun, but the vast bulk of it is collectors, comics and action figures and stuff like that. So if you're a collector and you happen to like horror, then it's bliss. But if you're only really a horror fan, then there wasn't that much to see this time. It was us. And then after us, and then there was also the cast of the Warriors, the movie.
Okay, yeah, I saw a picture of that.
Yeah, so they were all there too. But so there certainly wasn't 6 hours worth of stuff to do there. After you met us and got our signatures, and then he was about to turn around and drive back, and I felt so bad, and it wasn't super super busy. So we had the time, so I said, dude, come sit back here, sit next to me, let's just chat while I signed. And he's like, what? He was all like, he couldn't believe it. And he goes, oh, are you sure that's okay? And I'm like, of course. We're just people, sit down with us. And so we just hung out for like at least an hour. We told him stories, answered any question he had, because, heck, if you're going to drive that far to see us, want to make sure you have a good time,
I mean,
So,
I think that's awesome. And it made the world of difference to him too. I mean, it's something he'll never forget, that's really kind that you did that. And when a fan sees how much you appreciate them doing what they did and you taking the time to do that, it goes a real long way. And I'm sure it's something he's bragged about to his friends and telling all his family. Not only did I drive to see her, she let me hang out and she talked to me for like an hour. And it's something that's really, really cool.
well,
And I think it's really did it.
oh, thanks. Well, it was not, it was nothing for us. It was so easy. It didn't cost us anything, and it made him so happy, but I can't say it enough. Like, it is you guys, it's the fans that keep this franchise alive. I mean, this film, I'm sorry, it's 32 years old, and if there weren't fans that enjoyed it, we wouldn't be going to, we're done. It was something from, we still get residuals, not a lot, but, every time around Halloween, we get a check. Some years it's really, really small. We joke, we laugh over, it's like, if it's like just a couple bucks, you're like, ho, 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 whatever. But, other times it's a little better. And, you guys, it's the fans that keep Amanda Krueger alive. It's the fans that keep the films alive, so no, we super, super appreciate it. There's a girl, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say the 80s, 90s, like when horror especially slasher, really kind of ended towards the end of the 90s. The resurgence now in the fan base is bigger than ever. The opportunity for horror right now is, in my opinion, bigger than ever, even bigger than in the 80s, because you can do so much more. And the thing about a lot of the old 80s films, even the slashers, a lot of it's practical effects, which I love personally in any horror movies. So seeing all these indie people working on projects, like my buddy Steve Merlot's working on a project, and he's raising money for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel. My friend Michelle is doing a third channel, which is a Halloween 3 prequel. And I think that's cool, like things you'd never see a sequel to.
Right.
They're doing a prequel, and from the fans writing, and they can do it on with decent quality, really good quality. So
yeah,
to me,
awesome.
There's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, people can make pretty decent little quick something. Even on our phones now, they're so advanced that it's you're absolutely right. I you know I like a really good scary story. I think a lot of it's from. So I already mentioned earlier, I lived in Japan for 4 years when I was a little girl, from age 5 to age 9. And so Japanese ghost stories, holy crap, they're scary. Not It's not gory. I mean, it can be. Some of it can be pretty gory, but for the most part, it's not a lot of blood and guts. But it is freaky scary, and it's usually something really sweet and innocent. Like, to me, that's always the scariest, is when it's something sweet and innocent that really is actually evil. And I think that's why the whole idea behind clowns, not that they ever looked sweet to me, they were terrifying even when I was little, but or little dolls, or nursery rhymes, like, that's always when things that are supposedly nice are really not. I think that's what we find really scary. So Japanese horror films, they often will be like beautiful lady, and she'd have this long hair and a beautiful figure and everything, but the face, it's like her face is always hidden in those Japanese movies. So it's and you just see through the side, but then it's like so slowly, it take forever, slowly, and then whatever, some freaky.
The Ring was I know it was originally a Japanese movie, The Ring.
Yes.
And it was made, which was a great one. The Grudge was another one that was taken from. They do great horror, though. I mean, it doesn't have to be blood and guts, but they do have a good grasp of scaring, and they still do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch, even Train to Busan, which is, I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's a zombie movie. Amazing. There wouldn't be.
Yeah, just so you know that that's Korean, not Japanese. Don't get them mixed up.
Korean, well, I mean, Asian. I don't want to come up wrong, but I mean, a lot of the Asian countries. Now, I know they're different. Japanese, Chinese, very different, very, very different. But when you take it out of America,
yeah,
sometimes they don't have the creativeness, and it seems like you get things that are just really well thought out, like with Train to Busan, which is Korean. Yeah. Unfortunately, I heard the sequel was bad. I haven't watched that, but the first one was amazing.
I don't think it was bad. It wasn't as good, but it definitely the first one was much better. But what about Squid Games? Talk about
Squid Games. I gotta watch that. Everybody keeps telling me, but I was catching up on your movies.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, no,
I had to check your movies. I couldn't. I'll put that off after.
Yeah, so I watched Squid Games because I wanted to find something that my college sons, when they came home a few weekends ago, they would watch, and they only like they love the John Wick films. They just love all this killing, so whatever. Very sad. But anyway, so we watched, and when I watched the first episode, I'm not giving anything away. I'm sure you heard, there's just so much blood. Like, everyone gets killed. Everyone who doesn't win this game gets killed. And I'm like, oh my God. But the characters were so creative and, well acted, and the writing was pretty good, it had a good story that pulled you through. So even if you're not really into the gore part, I mean, tons of times I'd have to close my eyes. Well, this is how I watch most horror films. Or anything.
Legends gotta close her eyes.
Yeah, well, what I do, I look down, or if for some reason, if it's only through slit like this, I can watch it. I don't know why. Like, it seems like it cuts out some of the gore.
Like a sweet space.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That's how I watch horror films. Or I watch the reflection, and like, we have, paintings on the wall. So I'll kind of watch the reflection of what's going on, because it's not quite as bad. And then I'll know when it's over. I'll say to my kids,
it's in reverse, so it doesn't bother you. You get that mirror reverse image, so you're good. You're fine.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite genre of film? Oh, let's look through some of these questions. I know Halloween Fiend PDX is here. Kamisha's still here. My son's here, Devo. He actually lives in Canada. He just had a baby. I got a little grandbaby.
Oh, congratulations.
She's old. Yeah, she's adorable. She's adorable.
You said Devo lives where?
He lives in Canada, in the Ontario area.
Oh, awesome. All right. Yeah, I love Canada. Yeah. I told you. So what does it feel like to be a granddad?
Feels old. No, it doesn't. I'm happy. He's a great dad, and I'm real proud of him. So,
Oh,
and he actually takes care of his son. He's got a son too, but not biological, just like he's not biologically mine.
okay.
But he's my son no matter what, and
Right.
he treats his. So he
Awesome.
gives me a little treat. Ottawa Gatineau, that's the region. I still got to get out there and visit. It's hard. I haven't seen her yet because I'm all the way in Missouri, and
Okay.
I got to. And it's with everything going on, it's hard to go across borders right now and do this and that. Yeah.
So I Rick Smith was saying, I'm here eating my peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Yeah, I love peanut butter. You know, it's a great. I don't know if that was just a comment that you like it or when we were talking about poverty, but like, yeah, peanut butter is like a great thing, because it's healthy and it's delicious, and you know, that's definitely something I would eat whether I was a billionaire or I was, you know, homeless. If I was homeless, I'd, you know, beg for a jar of peanut butter. And
I do the same thing. Peanut butter is always good. You can't go wrong, and it's so filling.
But my favorite is peanut butter with honey.
Peanut butter with honey is good. I like that, and peanut butter with fluff is really good. I don't know if you've had that. They call them fluffernutters.
Yeah, peanut butter fluff,
Tasty.
And then also, oh my God, if you want to like have the taste of s'mores, but it, you know, you can't, is Nutella and fluff. That kind of makes you feel
nice.
It's so funny. Every time I look at you, it's so funny because I see Freddie behind your shoulder, you know, looking all.
You're trying to be protective, right? You're like, you'll handle him again. You handled him in part 5. You'll handle him again.
Yeah, he was very.
Yeah.
We're having a fight because the last time, you know, I saw him, you know, he called me a bitch.
Yeah, he's got a potty mouth. You got to handle some business. When's the last time you saw Robert Englund?
Actually, when did I see Robert last? I saw him at one con. This is a whole story. I don't know if you guys know. I don't know if I even really want to get into it, but there's so much freaking politics everywhere. And there's with agents and such. I'm not going to go into big detail, but the person who represents him and represents a few of the cast members from Elm Street has this thing where if a con, like, say, you know, you want to invite me out, and but you have Robert too. The agent only lets Robert make appearances with people that he represents.
I understand. I'm learning a lot of that just going to conventions and stuff.
And it's like, dude, you know, whatever. So unless I get represented by that same agent, you'll never see me from now on. You'll never see me and Robert in the same place. You'll never see me you'll never see Erica, you know, who plays Greta. Danny, you know, I'm not going to go into it. I don't want to go.
That's a shame. That's a, you know, and honestly, I won't let you go into it, but, and I know it's just a shame because the people it matters to, the fans, are missing out. And that's what it should really come down to, because I love the fans. Like, being a part of the horror community is such, just having the support I've even gotten, just as a guy who has a little group and collects some stuff. I mean, they're so amazing. I know how much we love all you people. And when you're accessible, like you're very accessible, I've met a few that are really accessible and great, and it's been so much fun getting to know them and having conversations like this with them. It's a shame when politics come involved when it should be about the fans, especially conventions.
Right? Because
it should be all about the people.
So when you have a reunion, like if you're going to have a Nightmare 5 reunion, which there's only been like once or twice, you don't never get the full cast together because of these stupid politics. You know, a number of us have shifted who represents us and such, but you know, and maybe one day it'll change. Our guy Peter, who's representing a bunch of us right now, he's really working on getting us to Japan, and Robert's interested in it. So, you know, as long as somebody else is organizing the whole thing, maybe it'll work. Maybe we'll all get to be together. Because, you know,
I hope so.
Freddie and his mom should be able to hang out together. You know.
I think so. I mean, it's movie history.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you're going in the big three, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, or Friday the 13th. Every person matters, and it doesn't matter who you're in the cast, but you're Freddy's mom. That's big.
Right? You know, I mean,
Big.
everybody.
There's only one mom.
There's only one mom. I mean, well, there are two, but I mean, it's the same character, and fortunately,
Yeah.
no longer alive. But anyway, oh, I wanted to say, who else? Let's see. Okay, I wanted to comment on somebody.
I'm going to let you answer some of these.
Yeah, well,
I'm going to put you on.
Anthony Jordan was mentioning those horrible tickets, those stupid lunch things. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you're still on, Anthony, but yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And then thank you, Rick. Yeah. And Kamisha. Heroic waffles. Ooh, now I'm suddenly, it's so weird. I'm so suggestible. All I did was read heroic waffles, and now I'm like jonesing for waffles. I've started this thing before conventions. I do this thing where I can eat whatever I want for breakfast and lunch, but I skip dinner. And it just tends to keep me a little slimmer so that I can look my best for the fans. But not eat, so I don't eat dinner. So I haven't eaten since 3 o'clock this afternoon. I had some peanut butter at 3 o'clock.
No bananas though, huh?
No bananas. Bananas, it's a funny thing. Once in a while, I crave bananas. And when I do, I think my body needs potassium. Then I love them, love them, love them. And I love the combination. Peanut butter and banana is great. I love, there's a Mexican restaurant here that puts them in like a tortilla and fries them up and puts cinnamon and sugar. And oh, that's so good. No, I do like bananas when I'm in the mood. And when I'm not in the mood, they just kind of feel slimy. So it depends on my mood. But I just, after reading this waffles, heroic waffles, I'm hungry now. How am I going to make it till tomorrow? Heroic waffles. I guess I'll have to be heroic. Let's see. Anthony Jordan movies. Get the crowd. What is it? Crowdsource these projects. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's amazing for people to just, I love when people have a dream of, if you want to make a film, whatever, just go for it. Go for it. Oh, by the way, for any of you out there, I'm going to make a plug for my son. He is in his final year at school for music technology. He wants to become a DJ, or he is a DJ, but he wants to really focus on that. Maybe he'll do it. I don't know. But what I know that he's fabulous at is scoring music. And he has scored for things. And if you have a film, he'd probably score for super, super cheap, or maybe even free, just because he's starting out. But he can do creepy, spooky music. He can do whatever, classical stuff. He's been writing music since he was a kid. So he's an awesome film music scorer. If you have a video game, anything, I'm just going to put that out there. So if anyone has a project for my son, let me know. Anthony Jordan. Oh, The Wailing is a Korean horror film that is very creepy and intelligent. I'm going to write that down. The Wailing.
I got to watch that too. Sounds. Where can we find it? Whoever mentioned The Wailing.
Yeah, The Wailing. Is it on Netflix? Is it on? What's it on? Rick Smith. What is that? I missed this. I don't know. Bubba got a girlfriend. Bubba got a girlfriend.
I have no idea. That's Rick. Rick is a great guy, but he's quite the character. I love Rick to death. He's great. He's been a big supporter of Doomsday's Crypt.
Bubba makes me think of Bubba Gump. Oh my goodness, wasn't that a fun movie?
Oh, Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
Yeah,
I do.
Have cheetah, will view. Do you actually have a cheetah?
He does. A
really?
Mini cheetah. Well, it's a cat. It's a cat, but he calls it the cheetah. Patrick's got a great channel too. A lot of these guys do. Heroic Waffles, really great guy, has an awesome channel.
Does he make
Halloween PDX?
Yeah.
Does he make good waffles? I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. I have never asked why he calls them. I'm guessing something to do with waffles, but I'm gonna have to ask him. Maybe if he's here, he'll let us know why it's Heroic Waffles. See, I don't know.
Okay. Well, you tell us why it's Heroic Waffles. And Rick Smith, yeah, peanut butter jelly mix. What's your favorite jelly? Like peanut butter? Strawberry is pretty classic, right? You know, so I was living in New Jersey when we came back from Japan. I've lived all over the place, Taiwan, lived in England for a little while, mostly long time in Canada, but I was in New Jersey twice. Anyway, so when we were at our poorest, we were living on a small little farm, a hobby farm. And when I'd come home from school, this is so unhealthy, but it was so yummy. I would just take flour and I would put it in a bowl. I'd add some water, I'd add butter, and then tons of sugar. It's just a sugar ball. And then I'd fry it in fried oil and then roll it around in cinnamon sugar and just would eat them. Oh my God. I call them.
Sounds good. Now you're making me hungry. Now I don't want waffles. I want that French toast sounding ensemble you made there.
I called it Pro's eggs. Don't know why, but that's what I called them.
It was your creation. You can call it whatever you want. Frank Sinatra, he's the Boogeyman Studios. He does the Michael Myers masks. So he's already saying we're going to have to make a special Freddy Krueger bust as a gift.
There you go. Ooh, look at that.
So he's a talented guy, and I think he's been wanting to do a Freddy. He's got one, so you might have a gift on your way from Boogeyman Studios, Mr. Frank Sinatra.
That would be awesome. I'd love it, love it, love it. Rick Smith says, "Oh, Robert gets 200 an autograph. Does he? I mean, he could. I'm sure. No, that's what. Yeah, Robert and Nancy. Nancy is really nice too. Yeah, you're right. His wife. But $200. Yeesh. I mean, I know he could command it, but I don't know. Some people. All right. I mean, it's funny because the guys that command the most for autographs are truly the people that don't need it. Like, they really don't need it. Financially, do you really need it when you're that? Like, we're not even in the same stratosphere. Like, he continued to act. He stars in all of. He's the lead. He's the star, and he's been in so many movies. You know, whereas us bit part actors, you know, a lot of us need the money to get our kids through college. You know, so I mean, I would do it for free. It's not like I think I'm so great that my autograph you should pay for, but I do. We charge $40 because it helps my kids' college. That's what you're doing. When you buy my autograph, you're helping put my kid through college.
$20 is reasonable for most celebrities. That's what they charge, and I think that's more than fair at 40.
We do 40, and you photograph with us, and whatever, and chit chat. But and like I said,
people got bills. It's can't be doing and going on trips for free and not making money. You have to do it. So fans, we understand. We understand when somebody's asking for $40 for an autograph, which is pretty standard. Yeah. And
I just match the rest of my castmates. We kind of just keep it the same across the board. I just find it weird when somebody says, "Oh, well, I'm bigger, so I should bigger role, I should charge more." I don't, whatever. Weird. Nightmare was the first franchise I showed my boys. So Kamisha, well, how old were they though? I got to tell you, folks. I mean, I don't want to put anyone down because I know a lot of you grew up watching these when you were little. But some of the scenes, like, they stay in your mind, I think. And so I noticed a lot of people come up with their little kids and saying, "Oh, they've seen all the movies," and I'm like, I don't know that I would show my kids. I never showed it to them when they're little, and now when they're old enough to see it, they don't want to watch it. They're like, "I don't want to see you giving birth to a creature." I'm like, "Dude, it's acting. Watch your mom," and they won't. Very mean. My own sons won't watch my films, but what can I do?
I had to change your thumbnail because YouTube made me take it off. The picture you have as your profile picture, they said it was like something with nudity and like, I don't know. Well, it's like it's giving birth. I mean, it's just a face you're making. You don't see anything, and you even got a collar up to here.
Yeah,
it's like, come on.
You definitely don't see anything. What I am nervous about with my boys, though, is now that there's Google and all that stuff. When we did, so you saw Quarantine. So there's like 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, like maybe 4 seconds you see.
Yeah, nothing.
20-something boobs when I was in my 20s. And they were good. They stood up on their own. They were nice and pert. So I guess if people had to see my boobs, that was a good age to see my boobs. But anyway, let's stop talking about my boobs. My husband's going to come running down going, what the hell are you doing? But I got to tell you, so when I did that film, as an actor, like, it was a big choice to, like, will you accept nudity? Like, when I saw in the script, and he said, no, it's going to be done really tastefully. It's only for a few seconds. And, and it was kind of a pretty scene, if you remember, like the water, that
It's nice. It's nice. And it wasn't like it wasn't explicit. It was more of the side, really. It wasn't
side.
like it's quick.
Yeah. Like, I take my shirt off to kind of dab the blood on his face or whatever, anyway. And I thought it was for, tastefully done. Well, think about it, guys. This was in the 80s and we didn't have, DVDs then. We did have cassette tapes, or whatever, VHS. But when you're filming, like, you kind of think about, the thing that comes to mind is, like, do I dare, like, take off my top in front of the crew? And they promise that they call it a closed set. So instead of, like, being like 30 or 40 people all around, they take it down to the bare minimum, which is still the director, the DOP, the camera, the gaffer. So you have about, I think they still had like about 8 people, and both Darwin, the guy I was playing with, because he had to be completely nude even down below, they gave us some alcohol. We had a nice stiff drink, and we just took a deep breath and did it. I mean, it's an odd thing to expose yourself in front of strangers. I mean, they weren't strangers, we knew the cast by then, but still, or the crew.
But yeah, it's not.
Right? Yeah. So I had the courage to do it. I did it because it was tasteful. But I got to tell you guys, I knew that, like, I also had to be okay with it. Am I going to be okay knowing that people are going to be seeing my boobs on this big, huge screen? But I never thought that it would live beyond that. Like, I didn't think, you just don't think that, in the future, it's still going to be there somewhere on, and these weird people, and I apologize I'm not going to apologize to you guys. If any one of you are one of these people, then shame on you. But there's people that make a living, I guess, anytime there's any kind of R rating, they go and they get the film and they freeze frame on just the nudity. And you can, if you look up any celebrity, any woman actor who's been on anything, if she had any bit of nudity, there's these sites that I guess you can just, it's like, see Beatrice Boepple nude, see whoever nude. And I guess people pay to do it. We don't, we don't get a penny from it. We don't know what it, we wouldn't want them up there. But anyway, I didn't know these kind of sites existed until Google came into being. And I remember one time Googling my name and I'm looking like, oh, there's this, there's that, different articles. And then suddenly it was like, B. Buckley's boobs or something like this. I was like, what? Oh my gosh. I mean, horrible, 30 years later, who thought, but, and I just pray that my sons will never come across that site.
Well, I understand that's got it. Well, it's so different now than in the 80s and 90s, even early 2000s. I mean, everything is so different. Who would have thought there'd be this place where you could just get anything you wanted and type it in?
Right.
I mean, it's insane where we are now. I'm still learning technology. It's crazy how far and what you can find.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I'm looking at Frank Sinatra. Yeah. Sure. Where to find whale? That was Anthony said. He doesn't know where to find it, but we'll look up whaling. And Frank Sinatra, make a special Freddy Krueger bust. Oh, that would be so amazing. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, it was from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Bubba Got a Girlfriend. That's what Rick said. Apple jelly. He has apple jelly with his peanut butter. And Anthony Jordan, movies and more. I'm born and raised in New Jersey. Oh, so do you know Belmead, New Jersey? That's where I lived. Belmead, New Jersey. It's just outside of Princeton, small little town. Been in North Carolina. Awesome. Okay, Rick says, do you sell autograph photos and mail them to houses? Yes. What's his? Peter Valderrama, my new agent, handles that for me. So he's on Facebook, and I can actually put that on my site. But he, if you want to photograph, it's the same $40 whether you saw me in a convention or not. The only difference is you don't get to see me and we don't get to chat and whatever. But if you want a a photo autographed, you just get in touch with him and let him know what you want me to say on it and whatever, and we will do that. If you want to have me record a ringtone for you, your birth was the curse on the whole of humanity. No, I don't know.
That's great though. People love that.
Yeah, right. But yes, Rick. So we will do that. Buying peanut butter, that stuff ain't cheap. Oh, you know what? So Halloween Fiend PDX. So peanut butter, you know what? ShopRite, I don't know if it's in every ShopRite, but ShopRite for some reason has this natural peanut butter. It might be ShopRite brand or something, but it's this natural peanut butter, which is amazing. Like there's no chemicals, anything. And I don't know if it was like mislabeled or something. A whole jar of peanut butter, $1.69. So literally I bought like 12 jars because I was like, holy crap, that's so cheap. And without chemicals, without anything, $1.69. I bought the whole thing out, and I've seen it a couple times at ShopRite. So take a look. Halloween Fiend. Okay, Sinatra. I have one in the studio that's been sitting there for a while. Ooh. Okay. Michael Myers mask. Guess we're gonna do this thing. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. Oh, you have the crypt keeper on your voice? Oh, fun. That's fun. So on your voicemail, yeah. Oh, that's really cool.
You need a Buckley one now.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone, any of your listeners, is anyone out in New York, or are they mostly on the West Coast? Because this weekend I'm at the Brooklyn HorrorCon, and I'm the only Elm Street person, and also my rep isn't going to be with me, so it's the first time I'm going all by myself. I'm a little nervous. I hope there are people.
You can do it.
What's that?
You can do it.
I can do it. Yeah.
Once you get there, you know how it goes when you're at the convention. Before you know it, you're sitting down, nerves kick in, but once it starts going and you're just talking, it's
yeah.
easy.
It's just interesting because I don't know the other actors. They're all from this film called. You guys know? Oh, wait, here. I have it on my screen here. They're from the Terrifier. Have you guys all seen that?
Yeah, I'm Doomsday's Crypt. I just got a perk with them, the new Stream movie, which is
okay.
It's called Stream. It's made by the people that did Terrifier and the upcoming Terrifier 2, and they got a few of old school actresses there for Danielle Harris is in it, and they just announced Tony Todd's gonna be in it, and a bunch of really, really talented people. Felissa Rose.
So what year was that film?
It's coming out. It's on Indiegogo. It's in the demand right now.
But the first one.
Yeah.
Terrifier.
Oh, the Terrifier. What did that come out? I want to say 2000. Was it 2018? I can look that up real quick. I don't remember when it came out.
Okay.
But it wasn't long ago.
Right. Yeah, because I'm looking at the picture of the actresses. They all look young, and I'll be the only.
I want to say 2018 it came out, but
okay.
I might be wrong.
I mean, look, folks, mine was 32 years ago, so I could be the mom of all these ladies that are going to be at this con with me. Whatever, that's fine.
I think you'd still do really well. I think people would love to see you in a role. And like I said, I've watched now a few things because a lot of it was hard to find, other than Nightmare on Elm Street 5. But I really and guys, I'm gonna leave the link in the description. I'll drop it in after, and I'll put it on the Doomsday's Crypt page. The quarantine. That way it's me, and I'll put that out so everybody can check it out, because it really is a good movie, and Beatrice is fantastic in it. She's really, really good. And also Matinee.
I appreciate it. Yeah. And Matinee is like, just in brief, it takes place during a horror film festival in this small town, and people start getting murdered in the way that the murder is going on screen. So anyway, it's kind of fun too. I think it's, they both have their merits for sure.
They
certainly.
do. Quarantine reminds me of They Live in that genre, and Matinee definitely has a Scream vibe to it.
Yeah.
Before they were out, so
Right.
really the original ideas. Well, actually, They Live might be what They Live was right around. Was that 87? Might have been the same around at the same time, but it definitely has that kind of vibe, which is it's very different though too.
Right.
It's very different.
Oh, and one thing I gotta say, so in quarantine, how my character, I ran around with a gun and my hair, it was a braid to the side, going down. Who in recent history had that very same look was oh shoot, my brain. Come on, she had the bow and arrow.
Oh, the To Kill a Mockingjay, that one.
Yeah.
What is it called? No, Jennifer. What's her name?
Yeah, we're thinking the same one. Come on, folks. It was a whole
The Hunger Games. The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, I swear to God, I mean, she was, this is 30 years ago. I had that look first. I was the one.
You were the trend. You set the trend.
That's right. Exactly. So, Frank
we'll just say they copied.
Yeah. You were born in Brooklyn. Okay. Multiple masks. Yeah, I bet. Frank, this must be your season too, right? It's a really good time. Yeah. Ooh, yummy. So Anthony Jordan was saying that Ingles is a grocery store in North Carolina, and they make their natural peanut butter right there. Good. Awesome. Yeah.
Frank and I actually, Boogeyman, planning on getting a big old table in Ocala. There's a horror event going on. So he's already, after Halloween, he's already ready to start really working hard. So we're looking at Ocala.
Okay.
And hopefully back in Phantasm in, hopefully it's still in October, the beginning of October. And I really enjoyed that one. And they told me I could always bring a guest. I could always bring in a celebrity guest. I don't know. I got some ideas. I could think of somebody. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah, no, I love coming out and meeting the fans, and and how it usually happens is if the fans ask for certain celebrities, the different organizers will be like, oh, okay. Of course, if somebody's planning on a Nightmare on Elm Street theme, then they'll look us up. And in particular, nobody's done a 5 reunion in such a long time. And now that Wit is in the game too, you really can get a lot of us together.
That'd be really cool.
I want you guys to meet my boyfriend.
Well, he's handsome.
Isn't he? Rolly, say hi to the camera. See his blue eyes? I don't know if you can see them.
He's got some really great colors to him. What does he have, a goat on his face? Like it looks like a goat or something on his color from here.
His little smoosh.
Like a little animal. Yeah.
And, by the way, on his neck, people don't realize that cats. So we have 2 acres, and my dog, who now she's 18 years old. She can't really even walk anymore. We have to carry her. But the cat, he can go outside as much as he wants, because we have the invisible fence around the property, and people think that you can only do that with dogs. You can do it with cats too, no problem. You just have to get a really small.
Cats.
Yeah, so he's got the little small. I got him the smallest dog size collar. And the first few times when he would, cats are, much harder to train than a dog, but he would cross the property line. It starts to beep, if you know how these invisible fences work. He starts to leave the property. He'll start to have this warning beep, and he's like, what the hell is that? He keeps going, then he gets zapped. And a lot of times the cat will then he'll just run across to the other side. So you have to go over to the other side, bring him back, take the collar off so he doesn't get zapped, bring him back to this side. And I tell you, you do that about 6 times and they've learned it, and he never leaves the property now. So he's safe. He won't get hit by a car, and yet he can be outside and enjoy the backyard. So we
2
just have,
acres, so you've got plenty of running room.
yeah,
2 acres should be enough to stay in there. So,
for sure. Yeah. I mean, we have to make sure he's in at night though, because we have coyotes and
well,
all kinds of things that'll get him at night. But anyhow, yeah. Oh, so Frank Sinatra says, I'm the owner of Boogeyman Studios. Gonna have to change that name.
yeah, he's been wanting to change it.
Oh,
He's, like I said, he's the one who did this Myers. I got another Myers that I haven't unboxed yet, but I'm going to take it out that he made. Because this one has James Jude Courtney and Nick Castle on it.
wow.
And I thought Boogeyman should have it, so he took care of me. And he sent me a new one. And I got something else in the box I'm really excited about. He hand paints these. And
Yeah,
really
that's amazing. Really good job.
Yeah, he's incredible. I met him in Florida when I was going to Orlando Phantasm. I needed a 2018. I remembered I had somebody in Doomsday's Crypt.
Oh,
Gave
yeah.
him a call, and yeah, he had a 2018 ready. And actually, I gave the one I initially bought to James Jude Courtney, which was really cool and he was excited about. And then he's got this one. I had it signed, and I want him to have it. I think it'll mean a lot to him, so I'll be sending that out to him soon. I just got to upload the new video of the new mask.
Wow.
Try to come up with something creative.
Awesome.
We'll see.
Great though. No, that's really fantastic. So, oh, Rick Smith says March 27th to 2018. Is that when
Terrifier
came out? Okay.
I thought it was 2018.
Yes, and then there's somebody from Ash from Evil Dead. I'm just seeing who's going to be there. But it was funny because they called us the heroines of horror. So that's awesome. I'm glad I'm called the heroine of horror. In the when we did 5, Robert Englund, you probably heard the story because I've always people ask the same question. But when we were filming Nightmare on Elm Street 5, originally Robert was saying that's it, he's done. This was going to be his last Elm Street. And so in the original script, they had when Amanda goes up the stairs, after I take Freddie back in. Which is always a weird thing to explain to people. It's like, no, he didn't go in the same way he came out. That'd be kind of gross. I mean, it's gross either way, but anyway, no, he comes in through here. Anyway.
First C-section.
Yeah. It'd be so gross to stuff him back up. Anyway. With that claw going up there. Ouch. Okay. Anyway, sorry. So, and that's really, really gross. So Amanda's
funny.
So I'm supposed to go up, the stairs, and then I throw myself with him inside me into the room of the maniacs, where they'll have their way with us. But the whole idea being that was the end. I destroyed him. And think about that, like how cool that Amanda Krueger, that I got to be the one that destroyed him. I mean, maybe fans would hate that because there'd be no more Freddy. But if somebody has to destroy him, it'd be nice that it's kind of poetic that his mom was the one.
She brought you in this world and she can take you out.
Yeah, now I must take yours. So, but then after we started filming, they decided, well, let's leave it a little opening just in case he changes his mind. So that's why they had, his hand come ripping out of my belly.
Always got to leave that room for a sequel, no matter what they say. They know it's funny and they'll throw it out there. Part 5 was really the last good one till New Nightmare, and I think Part 5 was really not a knock on Freddy's Dead. It was all I enjoy all of them for what they are, but Part 5 to me was like the last really good Nightmare on Elm Street that I enjoyed. I did enjoy the New Nightmare; that was pretty good. And for what it's worth, I enjoyed Jason versus Freddy, and that was more of a Nightmare on Elm Street movie than a Friday the 13th movie. A buddy of mine said that before, and I agree with them. Yeah. It's definitely a good Freddy movie. It's a bad Jason movie. So
right.
Have you watched any of them or the sequels or? Yeah.
I at one point watched all of them, once just so that I would know what I'm talking about. If there were questions about it, and just to see how how they all went, and plus getting to know all the other actors too. It's nice that we can kind of compare notes and know how the story progressed. But Hey, Rolly, my cat's.
Were you a fan of Nightmare on Elm Street before you got the part, or was it one of those things you got the part and then you watched Nightmare on Elm Street? You kind of heard of it, but
No, I saw the original. The original I did see in the movie theater, and it was so funny because, okay, you guys can help me out. What year was the first one? Come on,
84.
84. Okay, so 84. I just finished college. Yeah, or I was finishing college. I graduated in 84 from college. So I saw it in Elm Street, I guess, with my theater friends. Yeah, I had just started acting, so it was, terrifying, and little did I know then that I was going to be working with Johnny Depp, who was in that movie. But in Elm Street, he wasn't famous at the time. But then when I worked with him on 21 Jump Street, he already was starting to, be fairly famous. He was
on Jump Street. I love that show. What did you do? Did you? I mean, I remember 21 Jump Street. Did you have like a cameo, or were you?
Yeah, no. Oh, I should show you. Wait, can you guys hold on?
Because it's been a long time.
I'm gonna let my cat probably entertain them while I go grab something. Rolly, say hi to the camera. No. Wait, is it right here? Hold on 1 second. I just want to show you guys. Yeah, I'd taken this to the. I went Jump Street. So I was a guest star on an episode. Oops. So there's Johnny. Oops. Here's me and Johnny Depp. Oops. You guys see that?
Very cool. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it was this whole episode. We were Oops. I don't know how to use the camera here.
Yeah, it goes backwards. It feels like you're doing everything in reverse on it. I'd have the same problem. We see it great there. Yeah, that's a great picture of you and him.
Yeah, we were so this was my character, and that guy, he's wherever he is. He's on some TV show. I can't think of his name now, but anyway. So I was a guest star on this episode. It was called what was that? Featuring Beatrice Boepple as. Do you know I never noticed it all these years? I don't know if any of you guys can notice. They spell my name wrong. It says B-E-O. It's supposed to be B-O-E-P-P-L-E. I never knew it.
You better call me. Sue.
Yeah. And this.
What was it? Oh, go ahead.
So this guy, so it's Johnny Depp, me, and the guy standing up, he was the kid in National Lampoon Vacation or whatever. He played the son of what the heck? Oh, and then this, my darling Emilio.
Oh yeah, Emilio Estevez.
Look how young I was.
Oh yeah, those are great pictures.
Thank you. But this was me and wait, hold on. So that's me in bed with Emilio.
There you go. It's a good picture. I'm moving my head trying to follow too.
We're kissing. But yeah, I got stories with that too. Anyway, but yeah, that was with, what was I saying about it? Can't remember why we were talking about that.
Well, you were just going through pictures and that you and Emilio were friends and you did a lot and with Johnny Depp. What was it like working with Johnny Depp?
Well, he wasn't like super. I mean, he was kind of famous. He was famous as a teen beat, Tiger beat dude, but he wasn't like the Johnny Depp that we know now. And he was very bored of the show because I think, what season was that? I don't know. That was, I think it was on for like 8 years or 7 years or something. It was on for a long time, maybe not that long, but it was numerous years. And the episode that I appeared in was, he had been on the show for at least 4 or 5 years. And he was tired of doing it, which I thought, like, what a snobby actor. But I didn't realize, none of us knew that he really was a character actor. You know, he loves to play these wild, wacky things. You know, I mean, I really love a lot of his work. I think he does amazing stuff. But you know, like Edward Scissorhands, wasn't he awesome in that?
Oh, amazing. He's done some amazing films.
He's not
I mean,
What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Like he's a serious actor, or well, serious, you know. And I think he just didn't want to be, like I said, you know, put into this box as this little pretty boy teen beat kind of thing. So he was a little frustrated. Whereas for me, I was guest starring on the show, and it's like my one shot at the show. When you're a regular, a season regular, you know, everyone's buddies. They, you know, they're very comfortable with each other. They're comfortable with the crew. But for me, it's like my one shot. I have like only 1 or 2 weeks of filming with these guys. So whenever it was my close up, you know, I wanted to do it right. And he would be like, you know, right before they said action, he would like write something and then put it right in front of my face. And it was always like some like really dirty joke, you know. And in retrospect, I mean, if I was more seasoned actor at the time, it would be funny. I could have laughed along with it, but I was nervous. I was a young actor, and it was one of my first acting gigs. And, you know, it was important to me that I did a good job. And so like this guy who I didn't really know from Adam at the time, you know, he's like showing me these dirty jokes every time the camera was about to roll. So I was getting really pissed off because he would throw my concentration. You know, so I had really bad feelings about him at the time, but I got over it pretty quick. I realized.
I don't know if you're trying to put yourself as an actress in a situation and you want to be in that, you know, you're a newer actress, you weren't as seasoned as he was, where you were comfortable just jumping into a scene and you wanted to be ready and prepared for the scene and not be distracted from what you have to do. So I can imagine, especially the stress you have being a guest star or a guest appearance on a show.
Yeah,
it's your one shot to do the best you can, and you kind of felt it was disrespectful in its own way, which you probably should have.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if I was part of the crew, you know, if I was one of the cast members, I would love. I'm just as, you know, irreverent as the next. You know, we joke around, and you know, I can play when I'm starring in a film and you're on it the whole time. You joke around, you play it. It makes life, you know, it makes things go, you know, quicker, because there's a lot of sit and wait on any film, you know, because they're adjusting the lights and getting this and that. So I totally understand it. But I just, because I was the outsider, you know, it was my one shot. It was very hard for me. I just wasn't experienced enough that I could get along, you know, laugh with it. But I don't hold any bad feelings. He's a great actor, you know, so. Oh, thank you so much, Rick. That's very sweet. I appreciate it.
So was there any actors from the show on 21 Jump Street you really got along with? I know there was Peter DeLuise. I don't know how many scenes you had with him.
Yeah, they were all, well, most of my scenes were with Johnny Depp. So it was me and Johnny and these two other guys who I believe they were guest stars too. Like they weren't regulars. So it was kind of us most of the show that I worked with, and they were fun. And the actors, the other guys and I, that we hung out. I have pictures I have no idea where we were, but I have pictures sitting on a couch with their arms around me. We had drinks. I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Hey, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like, well, it's kind of ironic. You guys were on 21 Jump Street and both were in Nightmare on Elm Street series. So that's that's kind of cool. Ironic, small world.
It is. It's a small world. Yeah. So. Oh, so
out of all of them, what was your favorite one to do? Out of all of them, what was your absolute favorite one to do? Like you had the most fun doing, where you felt the most comfortable maybe, and you feel like you gave your best performance?
Well, those are two different things. So I don't think I gave my best performance, but I gotta say, I can't deny the fact I enjoyed Quarantine the most because I was the star. So, you know, how can you not love being the star of a film? You know, you get to be in so many scenes, and plus I had a trailer. No, did we actually even have a trailer? It was very low budget, but it was just really fun to get into and to be able to be on a film from beginning to end. I just had the best fun with it. I absolutely, it wasn't my best performance. I think I've done much better performance on stage in some plays. And even, I think, for some reason, a performance of mine on film that I liked the best was in TV. There's a Canadian TV show. It was one of the longest running Canadian TV shows called The Beachcombers. I don't know if any of you've heard of it. I don't even know what it would be shown on here, but it was a big show in Canada, and I was a guest star. One of the lead characters is played by this actor named Bruno Gerussi, and in this episode, I show up and I believe that I'm his daughter. So, if you think of any show that you watch, the main character, suddenly this girl shows up and she thinks she's his daughter. It was a big, episode, and that I got to, there was a lot of emotion in it. And even though that was my absolute first TV acting gig, I didn't even know, like, when in places to be able to hit my mark and all that kind of stuff was really, really new to me. And I kind of overacted a little bit for the camera because I didn't realize in close-ups you really don't have to do much. But I think it probably was like the juiciest role, like in terms of the range of emotion that my character had. So I really liked that too. I would love to, if there's any writers out there, not that I would absolutely do a horror film. I'd certainly do a spooky one. I'd love to play a creepy, spooky old lady is what I'd love to do. Not necessarily stabbing or biting or eating somebody, but being like really, really creepy and spooky. You know what role I would have loved to have played was, and here goes my senility. What was the one? I think it might have been Steven Spielberg's. I'm not Steven Spielberg. Stephen King script, and that actress, she takes a writer in the woods and captures him. You guys know what I'm talking about? It was an old film, not old.
Misery with Kathy Bates.
Yes. Yeah.
Love that movie. I had a girlfriend like Kathy Bates in that movie. Psycho. Right. But that's another story.
But I would love that role.
I could see that being fun as an actress.
Kathy Bates. Yeah, she was in Misery. You're right, Rick. That was great. I would have loved to play that role. Or what else is like freaking spooky is okay, you guys can help me out here. This is called I can't even think of the name of the word, but the game where you have to try to pantomime. What?
Oh, now I'm forgetting things. I know what you're talking about. The one where they draw it.
Yeah. So okay.
Pictionary.
So you guys thought this was Doomsday Crypt. It's actually charades with Bea Boepple. So here's our charades. It's a movie, and it was in the many years ago, and it starred that actress. Guys, you know that actress? Where it was the freaky psycho woman, and she boiled the guy's rabbits.
Oh, Fatal Attraction.
Thank you. And what was her name?
Oh my God! Now I can't think of her name. She's a famous actress too.
Famous actress. Come on, Rick. Who played in Fatal Attraction? We all know who we're talking about.
Angelica Houston. No, it wasn't her. It was not Angelica Houston. I can't. Oh man.
Fatal Attraction.
Oh my God, what's her name? I can't even think of it.
She played the mother to
her daughter looked just like her too, and I can't think of her name. Oh man.
You guys can look it up on the computer. Anyway, can't think of her name. Anyway, I'd love to play that role too. Like
Farrah Fawcett? No, it wasn't Farrah Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett. No.
No, it was oh God.
Fatal Attraction. Somebody look up Fatal Attraction. Anyway.
I'm looking it up now. I can't believe I can't think of her name, and I know it. Right
yes, I knew Rick.
Been close. There we go.
Yeah.
Why couldn't I think of that?
She's a great actress because we got.
She is.
Yeah, I can't think of names anyway. I'm terrible with names. But Glenn Close, those are the kind of roles. Oh my God, I would love something like that. Like, anyway.
Just the one who comes off really normal, but then behind closed doors is psycho.
Yeah, I guess maybe, like I said, like I love the Japanese spooky movies because they were always like that. But I'm going to tell you guys my first instead of waiting to come up with nothing, let's create a horror movie. Well, we could certainly do that too. I started writing. If anyone's a fan of mine a Facebook friend, I started writing a spooky movie called
Well, we definitely got to hear it. Maybe we'll get it all written, get an Indiegogo campaign where I will help you raise some money and make it happen for yourself.
Let's do it, because
That's what we're here for.
It's called the Horror Con, and it's, this actress at a horror film convention, and what happens there, what happens there.
There could be a lot of stories, especially from your part, because I'm sure you've met all sorts of fans, and I'm sure they're all wonderful. Never any weird ones.
Yeah.
That you could write a good story about. Never,
Yeah.
But I can imagine that'd be a good one.
Yeah, I think so. I have good ideas up there. But I just want to tell you guys a story. When I was a little girl, and I was like, I think we're still living in Vermont, so I was like maybe 3 or something. My mom took us to a circus. Oh my God. And this is where I learned to like really hate clowns. So I had to go to the bathroom really, really bad. And so she took me to the back to try to find the toilets. And out there was this clown, and he was sitting there smoking a cigarette, and he had the painted face, the painted smile face, so imagine the smile, but he was like frowning and smoking and cursing, like, yeah, fucking, little girl, like, at first I see a clown, and I think that's a happy little thing. And I start walking close, and I see him like cursing and smoking and with this nasty, nasty face. And I got so freaked out. And ever since then, hated clowns.
I know people, it seems like that's what people are most scared of that I've met lately is clowns. And I got a 7-foot clown. You'd hate me.
Oh man.
Luckily they're hidden.
Yeah.
They're hidden. I got a lot of scary clown stuff. I won't bring any on screen, I promise. But yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason it scares the crap out of people.
Right? Yeah. And little dolls and spooky little nursery rhymes, in a haunty place. Ladybug, ladybug, fly away home. With like echoing in the background and just the swing creaking, ball, with its blank eyes. I think that's just images that freak the heck out of most of us, I don't know. A lot more than just somebody coming. I don't know. That, to me, that's just much more scary when the suspense and anyway.
It can be really good movies.
Yeah,
especially scary dolls. I enjoyed like Annabelle and stuff. It definitely, even Child's Play. I mean, that's it'd be scary, but I think I think you're thinking more along those lines than the slasher even of Chucky.
I never did see Annabelle. Would I be scared? I probably would, right? I never saw Annabelle. But I just find creepy I find little dolls creepy. My friend, especially the old porcelain ones that have the realistic looking eyes, like, I don't know what it is about them. They just scare the bejesus out of me.
There's been some good ones. With the kind of the freaky clowns. Actually, the guy who does a lot of the art up there, Scott Strack, I got an original upstairs of Art the Clown.
Right.
I got one of the original ones, and also the Goosebumps one. I can't Slappy.
Oh, right,
so
right.
Creepy, and it's if you ever, when you see it, the eyes follow you everywhere in the room. So no matter where you go, it looks like it's looking at you, which I really love in those pieces.
Yeah.
And,
now, is it the clown in It who comes like really, really fast? Like he comes up at that weird, creepy fast.
Definitely Pennywise. That's probably Pennywise you're thinking of.
Yeah, just that movement, like how he comes running out towards you. Oh.
And then the kid. Yeah.
There's so many things that are scary. My mom told us the story. Do you guys know the story of the Golden Arm?
I don't.
Well, anyway, there's this story that my mom told us when we were little. And it is so funny because she thought that telling us a ghost story, because it's chilling, would cool us down because it was a really hot summer and we didn't have any air conditioning. So she told us the story, and it just, oh my God, my sister, I think until I was like maybe 11 or something, like literally for like almost a decade, would terrorize me, because there's one part where it's like, give me back my golden arm. You hear from the outside, this, give me back my golden arm. And then the wind is blowing and everything. And it was just a creepy part of the story. So anyway, all my sister had to do, we'd always share a bedroom at, when we were little, and she would just, in the middle of the night, we'd be sleeping, and suddenly she'd go, "Give me," and I'd be like, shut up, shut up, shut up, and I'd cover my head.
Your older sister?
What's that?
Older sister?
My older sister, yeah.
Older sister? Yeah, that's what they like to do.
Yeah.
Torture you.
Tortured me. Tortured me. That stupid thing. Anyway, I have a very script that I worked on a long time ago. I just couldn't get any reliable people to play in the parts. Well, you let me know, Frank, if there's a great role for a spooky old lady or something. I can also be really, I guess I don't have to be the spooky lady, but I think that would be fun.
I think you'd do a good job at it, though. I mean, you could come up with your own rhyme and you could sing it like you did there and just put a little effects to it and scare the crap out of people.
So you know what? On Nightmare on Elm Street 5, and I got to watch it again to remember exactly where it is. I think it might be when they're wheeling Alice down the hallway, which then eventually turns to me. I think it's at that part. Either there or when they're trying to find me in the tower somewhere. If you listen really carefully, and I'll have to do it myself. There's a voice singing very faintly in the background. It's me. I didn't get any credit for it. I didn't even know they were going to use it, but I kept telling the director, I was telling Steven that I can do this really creepy thing. And it was from when I played, the first time I played a nun in that show, Once a Catholic. They taught us these Catholic hymns, and one is like, it's in Latin, and it's anyway, so I sing that, but like in a creepy, echoey voice, and they have that very faintly in the background. It's in the film, and that's me singing.
I think I've noticed that. I think I remember that scene you're talking about, where it's really distant in the background, but it is creepy.
It is creepy.
You had a scare factor in Nightmare on Elm Street 5 there. See? Yeah. I think it might have been more scary than Freddy in the film. That creepy sound always does it.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Frank says, have you ever heard of the nursery rhyme, there was an old lady who swallowed a fly? Yeah. Ooh. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. I think she'll die. Oh, I can always beat anyone in a stare contest.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You ready? Hey, this is weird, though, because for us to look at each other, we have to look at the stupid camera.
I can look at the camera, so it's not even really looking. Yeah. I don't know how we do this.
I guess there's really no way to do it. Wait, no, I lost. No, I laughed. Okay, no, are you ready?
I beat Beatrice.
No, I wasn't really doing it. Okay, on your mark, get set. Are you looking at me?
I'm looking at you. You're looking at the camera.
No, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, boy. I'm looking at you. You're looking at me. All right, I guess we can't really do it through the screen.
I can't tell which way to look at you. Like I look at you this way, and it doesn't look like I'm looking at you. I look at like the camera, but then I can't see you. So,
are your eyes hazel or green?
They're hazel.
Yeah, mine too. So it depends. Like if I'm wearing green, I think. Do they look green? My eyes.
They do.
Yeah, but if I wear gold, they look more gold. Sort of. Oh, and I want you to know, not that it matters, probably especially to men. I don't see any women on here. Oh, where's Kamisha? Maybe she had to go.
Kamisha was here. Sabrina was here. I don't know who's left in the chat, but always got a good mix.
But for those of you, I guess it's pretty easy to figure out how old I am. You can just look it up anywhere. But next year, I'm going to be 60. Can you believe I'm going to be freaking 60? Anyway, but I want you to know, you guys can look, see my roots. I'm no gray hair. Like I don't call it. I've put in highlights every once in a while, but I haven't gotten any gray hairs yet. I think, and almost 60. But my mom never got any gray until late 60s, and now she's in her 80s and she's living in Nepal, which is next to India. For those of you who don't know, she's become a monk. Pretty wild. But anyway, but I think it's because I'm part Asian. My grandfather was Chinese on my mother's side, and I think the Asian blood, we kind of don't gray, and we don't have hair. So I've got very smooth arms. See, no hair.
You got good genetics. Look at that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, my hair stays without it, but my chin, I don't know what it is, just right there. But at least it filled in better. It looked like when it first started, it looked like two fangs coming out of my chin. It was kind of cool. Yeah, so I'd keep it. I try to trim it even shorter.
Did you see what Rick said?
He's smooth talker.
Come on, you were thinking I wasn't a year older than 59. No,
you certainly don't look like you're going to be 60, though. No.
Yeah,
you're doing well.
I'll be 60. I know. I used to think 60 was so gosh darn old, back when I was younger. But I guess the older we get, the older old seems, right?
I've noticed that. When I was a kid, when people were 60 and stuff, they looked a lot older. Even watching like old All in the Family. Like Archie Bunker was my age when he was playing that part. Carol O'Connor was my age, and
right.
He always looked older. He always did. I love Carol O'Connor. I loved All in the Family, but right. I mean, it's yeah. He
two of the oldest.
I think
yeah, the two oldest actors I worked with Katharine Hepburn. Oh my God, legend. Like there were very few actors that I got like goosebumps, but I got to work with Katharine Hepburn, and also Mickey Rooney. And they both were very old when I worked with them. So, but I mean, gosh, a lot of the horror actors age really well. Look at Lisa Wilcox. Holy shit, she's gorgeous. She never, it seems like she never ages. Isn't she beautiful? And Greta,
yes.
Erica, who plays Greta, she's only a year younger than me, I think. And she looks fabulous. I think Lisa's probably a little bit younger.
Well, you look great. Hold it. You look great too.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I wouldn't believe you if you asked me to guess how old you were. I wouldn't have guessed 60. It's kind of surprising to me. So you're doing well. You got to put yourself up there. You'd never guess 60. I don't think anybody would.
Well, I honestly think it's yoga has a lot to do with it. I live a healthy lifestyle. I try to eat pretty well, and I think the Asian blood. I mean, really, I've always had really good skin. I think that's from the Asian. So, yeah. Ooh, I'm just reading Frank's. I mean, not Frank. So that's not his name. What is Frank Sinatra's name?
No, that's Boogeyman. That's the guy who does the Michael Myers mask, Boogeyman Studios.
Boogeyman.
And he said he wanted to do the Freddy.
But what's his name?
His name is Anthony.
Oh,
like Anthony Jordan. His name's Anthony too. I know a bunch of Anthonys. The guy from the promoter from Phantasm, his name's Anthony too.
Yeah.
So I think I've met about 15 Anthonys in the last couple months.
Yeah.
And they're all great guys. I guess if you're named Tony, you're a good dude.
So Anthony Jordan, who was 45?
I think he's saying Carol O'Connor.
Oh.
Was 45. I think he was around 45. I've been watching it recently because it's on IMDb, and I love All in the Family. It's so hard to watch, and it's such a classic show.
Truly.
And it's I don't know, one of my favorite sitcoms of all time. If not, it's my favorite sitcom of all time for sure. I just thought it was I don't know. It's still brilliant. Oh,
for sure.
And you could never get away with doing it.
Yeah, a lot of really timely issues they dealt with on that show.
All right. And they dealt with them, and they dealt with them respectfully. And even with Archie Bunker,
right?
Everybody loved him. It doesn't matter who you were. And not because he just nobody could play that character successfully other than Carol O'Connor. There's nobody who could play that.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Ed O'Neill with Al Bundy. Some people just cannot be replaced.
And and they were such a awesome, that was a really great ensemble cast, because, what's her name that played his wife? Meathead and all that, like together, they just were awesome. Yeah.
Sally Struthers,
Yeah.
Rob Reiner,
Right.
Gene Stapleton.
Archie.
Oh, Archie.
Yeah. Archie. Yeah, yeah. It's more like,
Go get me a beer.
yeah. Yeah. You know, you laugh.
Good crap.
You laugh so much like, and also you look kind of quite a lot like one of my my brothers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you remind me of my brother Philip. He's very, very musical and really artistic, really creative.
Oh, cool. So how many you got? I know you have an older sister, and now I know you have a brother, an older brother. Are you the youngest?
I have a lot of siblings, so not full. So my biological father. Are you guys ready for this? My biological father was born. Can I have a drum roll? Try to guess what year. A very long time ago. I'm not kidding you. This is the truth. You can look it up. He was born in 1896. My dad. So he was born in 1896, which would make him what? If he was alive, he'd be 100 and I don't know what. But he was 40 older than my mom. So he was 60 and she was 19 and then turned 20. He was her professor in Bennington College. He was a conductor and composer from Switzerland, and my mom was his fourth wife. So from his first wife, he had a daughter. So that's my half sister, right? You know, we had the same dad, and my half sister. Yeah, so your grandpa was born in 1899. My father was born in 1896. So my father was older than your grandpa, and my father was older than my grandmother. He was older than my grandmother. My sister was older than my mother. You know, try to figure that out, right? So from his first marriage, he had this daughter who was older than my mom, and then he didn't have any kids after that. And then his third wife, he had two sons who are my half brothers, and they're a lot older. They're like in their 70s and early 80s. One's actually a famous sculptor. But anyhow, and then from my mom and my father from the same marriage, I have an older brother and an older sister. And then from my stepfather and my mom, I have a brother who's 9 years younger than me. And then there's some out of wedlock siblings. But
so do you guys all get along or get to know each other, or was it kind of distant with some? And
mostly distant. I mean, you know, my older sister, she lived in Switzerland, and like I said, she was much older. You know, she was older than my mother. So, but she did come out. She came out for my wedding. I met her twice in my life, and it's crazy to be talking with this old lady basically and talking about our dad. But so I really didn't know her. My two half older brothers, you know, we're very, very friendly with each other, but we just don't see each other much. My full-blooded brother, he lives in Missouri. Did you say you live in Missouri?
I live in Missouri.
Oh, so
I
that's
live
right.
in Kansas City. I'm in the Kansas City area. Yeah.
Oh my God, like you look like him. Isn't that funny?
Oh, really?
Yeah, Philip.
Well, everybody's got it. Actually, Rick was bringing that up the other day. He was talking to me. He was showing me a picture of his father, and I think he said was it your brother looks just like his father, or his cousin or something looked just like his father. We were going through that where everybody's always got a double,
Right?
Somebody that looks just like them or a twin. I hear that a few times. So
Yeah.
maybe it's the person that people keep saying, I think I know you from somewhere. It's your brother they're talking about.
Maybe, but he sounds a lot like you. He talks a lot like you. You've got much better teeth than he does, and you're a lot younger than he is. But
Well,
but there's similarities, like, you know, there's just a lot of similarities. But anyway,
you've got one of those big schnozzles. Big old nose.
I'm
Been
telling
broken and hit too many times.
Oh dear, your laugh is just like his laugh. Yeah.
That's
Hi, Rolly. See, Rolly keeps wanting to visit. Come on, Rolly. My cat.
Gunner.
He's camera shy. Anyway, wow. It's 11 o'clock out here.
I know. Well, we had a great time. I told you, just like hanging around and hanging out, and I try not to get too detailed where I got a bunch of questions. I figure just let it roll and hang out and talk to everybody and not answer the same old questions over and over again. And I had a blast hanging out with you. I hope you had a good time too.
I did too, yeah.
And we definitely
we talked about different stuff, because you're right. Like in a lot of the interviews and stuff, we end up talking about the same stuff. Rolly, say hello. Rolly. Isn't he got crazy markings?
He does. It's like it looks like two cats in one, with the one hair, and then you see his paws from there, and then his face, and it's cool. It's really cool.
Oh, he's angry. Look at his ears.
Does he have Siamese in him or something?
Oh, he's so pissed off right now. Sorry,
Does he have Siamese?
I don't think so. I think somebody said it's like ragdoll. He was a rescue. I only have rescues. My dog was a rescue, but I actually wasn't even going to get a cat. I thought I'd always been really allergic to cats. But for some reason, this one, I'm not allergic to him. He's so funny. He's like,
That's awesome.
what is it? Why do they love to sit on our papers? Isn't it funny? Cats.
I don't know. When I used to do my homework very rarely as a kid, I had a cat, and I could never. My cat stopped me from doing my homework because they'd be sleeping on my papers, taking the pen out of my hand. You'd move it, come back down.
Oh,
Cats are like that. They like the weirdest things.
Don't they? This cat, I got to tell you guys, he's a sweet cat, but he can be really nasty. So in the morning, when he wants to wake us up, which is usually at 5:30 in the morning, he starts to meow, and then his meow gets louder and louder and gets nastier and nastier. You know, he might start off meow, meow, but then it starts to go meow, meow, meow. Yes, now he's looking at me. He makes a really nasty, loud thing. Then that doesn't work.
He's patient, but then he loses patience real fast, huh?
Then he comes up, he'll jump up, and he'll start to try to knock things down, you know, make a big noise. Or if I have anything that makes a sound in the room, he'll start just smacking at it to make lots of noise. If that doesn't work, then he jumps onto the bed and goes right up to my bladder. I swear to God. And he starts to knead my bladder because he knows in the morning I'm going to have to pee. So rotten. Really, really nice.
Helping you.
No, he's not. He's being a brat. Anyway. Phil's
creepy videos is here.
Yeah, creepy videos. Does he have creepy videos, Phil?
He does.
He does? All right.
Yeah, Phil's great. He's got a great channel. A lot of these people that are here have great channels. Anthony Jordan's got a great channel. Phil's got a great channel. Halloween Fiend has a great channel. Even Boogeyman, Mr. Sinatra, does some live streams on Facebook if you ever want to see it. He's a character himself. I did a sit-down talk with him, and when I met him, I recorded. I was the one person he allowed in Boogeyman Studios and showed me all his stuff. Real entertaining guy. And he does, sometimes he does live paintings of his masks and shows little things. He's got secrets.
Everyone's got to have secrets. I've got secrets. Okay. Although I shared a lot with you guys tonight, but Anthony Jordan Movies, they called the cat bipolar BB. That's so funny. I was called BB forever because it's obviously B Buckley. So people called me BB or baby when I was really little. Or Bebop Lula, she's my baby.
I imagine you had with a name like, how many times did people that was my big thing. I'm so glad you said Buckley because I couldn't remember how to pronounce it. And when you read it, it doesn't, like the last thing you'd say is Buckley when you read it. So yeah. I'm glad you did an introduction to yourself on Facebook. It's like, oh man, I'm way off on how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I know people say Boepple, Beapple, all kinds of stuff. But the way to remember it is my girlfriend, when I was in 4th grade, made up a song when she met me. And it goes like this. Bubbly, bubbly bee could not climb up a tree. So she fell straight down to hell. Bubbly, bubbly bee. That was the
there we song. Go. That's an easy way to remember. It's a lot easier than the way I did it because I'm terrible at remembering things, especially names.
Right.
I'm like, oh man, don't screw it up. That was my big thing when I was introducing you. Like, don't screw up Buckley. Don't screw it up. And then you're Amanda Krueger herself. So,
So
oh, one thing I wanted to ask you too before you go is why in quarantine? Like I could have swore I heard them call you Vanessa, but they call you, your name is Ivan Joe. Was that intentional? Or was it like supposed to be a male? Like at first, was it written for a male and they switched it because you were right for the part? Or
no,
just happened to be the name?
he just called her Ivan Jode. Yeah, it was a weird name, right? Ivan. Yeah. I don't know. I actually don't know why he called her Ivan. But it's strange. It was a strange little script. It was a little better than when it was when I first auditioned for it. But you know, that role, you know who was supposed to play it was Ray Dong Chong.
Oh, really? Tommy Chong's daughter?
Mm-hmm. But the director, Charles Wilkinson, you know, had met her for the auditions and she wanted to do it. And when he met me, he said, nope, he wanted me. But then it ended up.
You did a great job.
Thank you. But it ended up very bad because the director, that director, Charles Wilkinson, turned out, I had no idea, but he was like arch enemies with the director, Richard Martin, who directed Matinee. And while we were in the middle of filming Quarantine, Richard Martin just called up my agent and he offered me the role in Matinee. I hadn't even auditioned for it. He wanted me in it. And as an actor, of course, I'm going to take a film role. Like you don't get lead roles every day, you know? And so I took it. I was all excited because I knew Quarantine wouldn't last forever, you know, and plus they're paying us nothing just about, I mean, really, really below scale. And then when Richard, when the director of Quarantine found out that I was going to be working with this other guy after he finished filming, he got so pissed at me. He's like, I hate that guy. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, but I'm an actor. Like he's giving me a job. And my co-star, Garwin, said, oh, I turned him down. I wouldn't work with him. And I'm like, dude, whatever. Anyway, so
politics,
again, politics. And so for the last 2 weeks of filming, the director was like really, really nasty to me. And when it had its premiere the following year, I opened up at the Vancouver Film Festival because both Quarantine and Matinee were both premiering. It was the same year that Julia Roberts, who was unknown at the time, her Mystic Pizza opened at the same film festival. So it was kind of cool. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, holy shit, that woman, that girl's going to be a big star. I mean, you could just tell right away. She's just, yeah. But anyway, so at the film festival, at the premiere, you know, I had the red carpet. I was getting interviewed left, right, and center by the radios and TV stations and stuff. And like, I was kind of like the it girl in Vancouver. It was a big deal at the time. At the premiere of my movie, I mean, it says starring Beatrice Boepple. I'm the first name. The director stands in front of the audience. You know, he's introducing stuff and talking, and then he starts talking about all the cast. And I swear to God, he didn't mention my name. And I'm like, what? And then finally, and by this point, I had done Elm Street. Elm Street hadn't come out, but I had filmed it. And so he names everybody else, and then he goes, oh yeah, and there was that girl, Beatrice, and he mispronounced my name on purpose. You know, we'd worked for months together. He goes, oh, Beatrice Boepple, you know, some horror film flick girl. He was so rude. It was just awful. Like
you'd think like somebody in that position, whether they had, you know, differences with somebody else, isn't going to take it out on their actor or actress,
right?
For whatever reason. You know, especially when you're just trying to work, you're trying to make a career, and you're trying to do the best you can and open up doors and avenues and doing, like you said, unless you're Tom Cruise, you're not making $20 million a film. No. You need to be consistently working and making that money and making it worth your time to be an actress, because it's not easy and it is a lot of work in its own way. And if you don't take the roles,
you have to
what are you going to do?
Offered the role, you know, and the fact that he was so nasty like that, like it was just really, it was super hurtful. You know, I mean, it should have been like a super exciting time for me, you know, my big film premiere, and he was just treating me like an ass. And you know, I think what it was that he wanted to be the guy that discovered me. You know, he gave me my first starring role, you know, and that was going to be his big discovery, you know, and he turned down Ray Don Chong to use me and all this stuff. And he could have done all that, but he just, you know, if he stayed nice to me, but I don't know.
He took business personal, and you can't do that, especially knowing that unless he's making every film that you do, which you
Right.
know,
Yeah. You
and
know, I mean,
he's paying your bills, then he really has no say. And it's too bad that happened to you. But
yeah.
you know, some people are just like that. It's not like you did it to be nasty or you took the job or the role to be, you know.
And
I don't know what it sounds petty. It sounds
it,
real petty.
yeah, you know, I think they were like, maybe they went to the same college or something and they had, you know, their arch enemies, whatever. But first of all, A, I didn't know it. I didn't know that. How would I know that? And B, even if I did know it, I'm sorry, that's your fight. That has nothing to do with me. You know, I'm an actor. I need to pay my bills. So anyway, it was a little unfortunate, but you know, that's life. You get your ups and downs, and it's hardly the
I
worst.
see a big resurgence in your career, though, with everything that's going on. The way, um, even if it's not just horror that you do, hopefully you get to expand what you do. But horror is so hot right now. For 80s and 90s actors and actresses, I think right now is really exciting time for you guys, especially with a lot of these indie projects now, and they're not small either. Like the one Stream that I was telling you about, that's from the people, the producer of Terrifier 1 and 2. Um, my good buddy Steve Merlo, he's doing a prequel, and he's not cutting corners. They're trying to put out a really solid project. Like John Dugan, he did the little voice for the trailer that they have. And then I got a friend of mine working on the third channel, which is a sequel to Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, which doesn't have Michael Myers. I don't know if you know much about it. It's the one with the 3 masks,
Okay.
which is interesting. And when it comes from the fans, most of the time you're going to get at least a story with understanding. And you get
Right.
these big budget ones, sometimes they don't understand the series. I'm not saying all, or what's needed to be made and done to make it a good film. So there is opportunities out there with a lot of these indie projects, and I really feel Hollywood's kind of stabbed itself in the foot, and and creatively it's kind of just about blockbusters. Either it's going to be blockbuster or bust, where these independent films are really surging, and a lot of people are supporting them.
For sure. No, you're so right. You know, because yeah, if that's all they're looking at is the buck, you know, then they lose out on so much of the heart and soul of what makes things really successful and what makes people want to watch them. So, yeah. I'm just looking here. What did he say?
Oh, he was asking about Ken Sagos from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4.
Right.
Kincaid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ken, we were at what one were we at together? We were at some con together.
He's a real. I got his picture over there. He signed it too.
Oh yeah, okay, right.
To it.
Yeah, look at your wall. Look at everybody.
Yeah, it's the same guy who John Fabonio. He does some amazing work. He does the painting on the canvas, and I felt bad. I ordered the Ken one, and my post office left it in the rain, ruined it, like across the front and stuff. So the artist, I had him send it back because I was bringing it to Phantasm or to Crypticon in Kansas City, and he got it fixed up for me. He does some amazing work.
Yeah.
He does some amazing art. Maybe he needs to do an Amanda Krueger in the future.
Yeah, that would be cool. I love
that. Would be cool.
You know what? I don't know if one of you guys know. So I have this poster, and it's a Nightmare on Elm Street 5. I don't know if it was like just that a fan had made it, where it's Nightmare on Elm Street 5, and it's Amanda Krueger, but her face is already the skeleton. Should I show it to you?
I haven't seen it.
Hold on. I love this one. I don't know if it was a fan created thing.
That is cool. I don't think I've seen that. It could be a fan created thing. It could also be one from, say, a different country. Sometimes the countries have different art. I haven't seen that. That's fantastic. I really like that a lot.
Yeah, so it's got
that is really cool.
bit of Amanda when she turns into the skeleton, and then those crazy pigeons that they kept throwing at me. It was so funny.
Which I got. If you ever want cool frames for stuff like posters, those 11 by 17 frames, those frames that I use up there are really cool for them. Even to keep them flat. And you know what I should send you, and I got a ton of them, is I got the plastic thing, so you don't have to keep it rolled up. You can put it right in the sleeve.
Oh,
you can
okay.
get plastic. I can find one like this. This is the left. Like I put all mine.
Oh,
and so it won't bend them. It'll keep them nice for you. I think the one you got is 11 by 7.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
that's another. But I'll keep them in. It's almost impossible to break them or bend them.
Oh, that's nice. No, I like that.
So instead of having to keep it rolled, yeah,
Right.
they got them in 11 by 17s, and
Oh.
I think that's what you have is it's either 11 by 14 or 11 by 17.
Let's see.
Well, hopefully.
I got a ruler right here. But yeah, I really like that one. But
I want to say 17.
If somebody wanted to make a, Amanda, I love, yeah, it's 11. I'm sure you're right. Yeah. But, yeah, look at you. What a good eye.
The Myers house is all.
It's 11 by 17.
It was 11 by 17?
Yep. Yep, it's 11 by 17.
But those frames that I get, even 11 by 17, like the frames, they're like $4 at Walmart for those. $3 at Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're really easy to do. You just pop them in. It keeps them flat for you. I could also get you the because you got to buy them as a thing. But I said these things are great if you don't want to hang it up on the wall and you just want to put it somewhere and you don't want it to get damaged and you don't want to keep it rolled up. They're fantastic.
Oh, great. Yeah, because I had a few of them made, so I took it with me to some of the cons in case anyone wanted to get one and have that signed. But anyway, I love that. And I do love
those are great too.
What was that?
If you offer them, even if like something like this, you get it like 8 by 10 or something. Like, I don't know what your selfies are. These are nice to have available for the fans. That way, if they get an autograph, they can put it in. You charge them a few extra bucks. It keeps it safe for them. So when you're walking through and you got one of those, yeah, they make all different sizes of them. It's worth it when you take them to a convention. I did it for to Phantasm, and it was helpful. Some people were like, you got, right there. That way, it keeps them safe, especially when you're walking around.
Right. No, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to this show that I got asked to do in England next year, because they're going to do some of the cosplay stuff. They're going to do an Amanda Krueger contest, and I get to choose the winner. So
that is cool. That is really cool.
Yeah,
I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's lots of fun.
But it's been 2 hours and 22 minutes. I'm sure you're ready to rip my head off for being on here so long. I could talk.
Fun. No,
we got to do this again.
Yeah. Yeah, this is great. Yeah. I mean, we could talk forever and ever, but yeah, I should get to bed. I gotta have my beauty rest because I gotta look nice for Brooklyn this weekend. Right?
Yeah, tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Is it Saturday?
Oh, I want to show you something.
Oh, it's a Saturday, Sunday?
It's Saturday, Sunday. So I was walking around the lake yesterday and I saw this piece of plastic. I don't know if it's like a bag, but it was just stuck to the tree and kind of flowing like that. So I turned it into black and white and got it all misty. And I told my son, who's the music dude, to make some creepy music to it. So we'll see what he comes up with. Because I just thought that
excellent. Maybe I'll have him write a theme song for my channel if I need or something.
Totally. You should. I mean, if you guys want to look it up, can I check?
Well, if you want, send me his link and I'll put it on the Facebook group for you.
Yeah.
I'll put it in there and I'll say anybody. And like I said, I know a few people that are working on projects that you never know if they're looking. And a lot of these indie projects, it's going to be getting foot in the door. Like, you know how it goes, but there could be a lot of opportunity. And I've been trying to get myself involved more into the indie stuff. So.
Okay. And like, I'm telling you, like, he's good. Like, it's not because I'm his mom, because I as his mom, like, when he does stuff that I think is shit, I say it's shit, you know, but he can make really good creepy sounds and music and stuff, and also really good classical stuff. And he can do, yeah, you can just listen to his website, Paul Mataway. I think it's just his name, paulmataway.com. And he has a bunch of different little tracks that you can hear and get an idea. But I bet you he would do, if you have a project like, you would do it for free or for, you know, some kind of trade of something. I don't know what, but you know, because right now he's just starting out. So definitely.
People are always looking for talent, especially a lot of these indie projects. I mean, and you know, being an actress, if you don't have the sound,
yeah,
the movie's not as good. The sound is as important as the acting and everything.
Yeah.
Take any of the great movies.
Exactly. Like we watched a couple movies recently where they were such good movies, but the sound was just, the music was just off. There was this one about this, I think it was made in Africa. No, not Africa. But anyway, it was about this woman who kind of ends up going back in time to the slave days. Like she's a Black woman. She's this beautiful model or whatever. And she's at on some weird island where they had a lot of slaves, and something happens and she ends up being back in the day of the slaves. And it was a really creative, cool movie, and yet the sound, the track was awful.
Which one is it?
It'd have like weird jazz music and stuff that would just like throw it off, like it just didn't go with it. Anyway, so yeah, the music can really make or break a film. But anyway, all right, yeah, I am getting sleepy. It's almost 11:30.
Me too. Chris Callie, thank you for showing up. Hey, everybody, thank you for showing up. And most importantly, thank you, Beatrice. Thank you. I'm going to post some of your links out there, especially for quarantine guys. You guys got to check it out. It's fantastic in matinee. And if you haven't watched Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5 in a while, make sure you check it out. See Ms. Boepple there. And then also we got Stakeout, and she's got a Shoot to Kill was another one. Find those 21 Jump Street movies. Our TV show that she was on with Johnny Depp. I mean, a lot of stuff. And I've enjoyed it so much, Beatrice. Thank you. And best of luck to you in conventions. And I'm sure we're going to see each other at a convention at one point.
I think so too, yeah. And it was great. Thank you all, you guys who watched. I'd love to meet you guys. And Rick, yeah, so if you got that script, you can talk to, are you guys familiar with Peter Valderrama? He's on
with him on Facebook. I became friends with him. I didn't realize he was your age until I saw him with you. I'm like, oh yeah,
yeah.
Because he's got his own dress style, so you know it's him. Like it was easy to, which is good. You got to pop out. You got to stand out.
Yeah, he's definitely got his own style. So you know, he can, if you want to get a script mirror or whatever like that, that would be great. But good night.
We will be in contact. I definitely want to keep in touch and do this again. And thank you so much. And can't thank you enough for doing this with us.
I appreciate it so much, John. It's been such a pleasure talking with you. We could just like hang out, talk forever, it seems like, right?
We'll do it again. I'll bring you on when I have some of my filmmaker friends too that are working on screenplays. All right. So we'll get together again.
Okay. Take care, everyone. Good night. Sleep well. And don't have any nightmares. Your birth was the curse on the whole of humanity. I shall not allow it to happen again. You brought me back to give you life, but now I must take yours. Lady,
thank you so much, Beatrice.
Fly away. Good night. How do I leave?
Good night, Beatrice.
Good night. I don't even know how to leave. You're going to turn it off.
Amanda Boepple, Amanda Krueger. Thank you, and thank everybody. See you later.
Good night.